Okay, welcome. This is Cartel as part of the Gauntlet Games Now program. Big thanks to Yoshi Krillman for setting up Gauntlet Games Now, which is our new program on the Gauntlet where we're just getting together, getting ourselves little groups for games and playing games, and without a lot of planning beforehand. So thanks to Yoshi. Real quick, I just want to kind of go down the row and have folks introduce themselves. Asher, do you want to start?
All right, I'm Asher. What? How did you want us to introduce ourselves?
Tell us something fun about Asher. What's up with Asher?
I don't. This is my first time playing Cartel, so that's exciting.
Awesome. That's great. Cool.
Yeah.
Next, Jim.
I'm Jim Crocker. I am a game and comic retailer who just recently closed my stores. But I'm going to be, I think most folks who know me from the kind of world of gaming know me because I have tables where I sell independent role-playing games. Mark, you've made me a pile of money over the last decade or so. So that's great. I tweet and am on Facebook at Jim Likes Games. And you'll probably see me at some convention in the Northeast or Midwest over, the course of the next year.
My favorite thing about your new Jim Likes Games stuff is you put up photos of different books and like doing stuff. And the one with Urban Shadows has you drinking wine. And I was like, oh, it's too perfect. Right? Look how pretentious this game is. It's good. Maria, how about you?
Hi, I'm Maria. This is also my first time playing Cartel, but I've run for Magpie in more wins than one. Yeah. So that's the interesting part.
It's awesome. Maria is my fellow Godbound lover as well. So.
Oh, you know what? I have something that I want to say about Asher, which is that Asher and I are both part of the current run of something called Mandatory Fun Club for Gauntlet, which means we are both, over the course of the next several weeks, going to be jamming our first games on the Gauntlet. So that's
awesome. Welcome. Cool. Yeah. That's great. And Robert, how about you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Robert Angus. Pretty new to the Gauntlet community in general. This is only like my fourth game.
Cool.
And all of the games I played so far have been playtests. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. This is my first time playing Cartel.
That's good. Robert's a professional playtester for the Gauntlet. That's awesome.
Apparently.
Great. I'm Mark Diaz-Truman. I'm the creator of Cartel and a couple of other indie role-playing games that you can find at Jim's many convention appearances. And I've been working on Cartel for the last couple of years, did the Kickstarter back in March, and I'm finalizing the mechanics and the text right now, hopefully send it to print later this year. Today we're going to be playtesting, I put that in quotes because it's been pretty robustly playtested for a number of years now. But we will have someone who's going to choose the Lorata playbook. So let's talk through the playbooks for the game. It's an Apocalypse World game, sort of typical in the way that it's set up. I'm the MC, the master of ceremonies, or maestro de ceremonias for those of you who are Spanish speakers. And then all the players are going to pick characters from the playbooks that are provided. So the quick start that we have has 7 playbooks. They are, number 1, El Narco, meaning that you are the head of this plaza set in Durango, Mexico. El Narco is a character who has recently come into possession of this plaza. It's not something you've controlled for a long time, but you're kind of a hungry up-and-comer, or maybe somebody who's been forced into this position against their will. But regardless, you run this drug organization. So characters like Gus Fring or Avon Barksdale. These are characters that, for one reason or another, have risen to the top, and they have a lot of influence over what world the other characters will live in. Second character in the Cartel at the other end of the totem pole is the Halcón. The Halcón is the lowest man on the totem pole, and all these names are gendered because Spanish is gendered, but they don't have to be. Like, you can have La Narca or La Halcón. Like, they're not intentionally gendered one way or the other. But the Halcón is sort of the most chaotic playbook. So if you like being in trouble and being in over your head, you play the Halcón. You can be kind of clumsy and maybe a little inept like Jesse Pinkman, or maybe you're like a total pro like Bodhi from The Wire, who just does his job, but just always has more on his plate than he can handle. The cook is another member of the immediate cartel, El Cocinero. The Cocinero is a little interesting in that they make professional drugs, like they make professional quality drugs. So like allegedly they must have some chemistry degree or at least have enough experience to make drugs at quantity. Obviously one of the big inspirations here is, Walter White, but there are a lot of other characters in the fiction who are professionals who are caught up in the cartel, maybe again against their will because they're in debt, because they made friends with the wrong people. The cook has a high grit, which is your stat for pushing your luck and getting out of trouble. So they're great at like winging it, but they're going to end up in a lot of trouble because they're sort of out of their element in this world of violence and crime. And then there's the La Rata. La Rata is the new playbook. It's the rat. It's somebody who has betrayed the cartel to some degree or another. La Rata might be somebody who is straight up like an undercover cop, or it could be somebody who has decided that they've had enough of the violence and the death of that surrounds the cartel. Big inspirations here are Leonardo DiCaprio's character in The Departed, who is a cop who infiltrates the Jack Nicholson's organization, and of course Mickey Rourke in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, who gets tired of the death and destruction around the cartel. Cool. So of the 7, those are the 4 that are like directly 100%. Oh, sorry, one more, which is La Sicaria, who is the enforcer character. So the Sicaria, you probably know this from the movie Sicario if you've seen it, is the hitman. And hitmen in Mexico are, the average age is probably like 14, 15. So like there's a little, like we're already pushing a little bit away from realism towards more interesting characters. La Sicaria in our game will be someone who retired and who came back. So they're really old. They're like 28, 29, right? Ancient in Sicario terms. And they have left the game for some reason or other and come back. Obviously, famous characters that are Sicarios are Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad, the Sicario from Sicario, played by Benicio del Toro, and also like Omar from The Wire is a Sicario. Like you're a badass, you're awesome. The decisions you make are sort of within the context of knowing you're the most dangerous person in the room. Okay, so those 5 directly work for the cartel in one fashion or another. There are 2 characters who are not directly employed by the cartel in the same way, one of whom is the Polizetta. Now, Zeta is a pun. Policia would be what you'd call a cop, right? But a Polizetta is somebody who works for the cartels, because one of the worst cartels is the Zetas. The Zetas used to be Mexican special forces. They defected to the cartels when democracy came to Mexico because they thought they would be tried for war crimes. So imagine like a whole bunch of Navy SEALs defect to the mafia. That's how crazy this is. They then decided, why are we working for these losers? Killed all the people who they defected to and took over the cartel. They are crazy. Like they do all the stuff you've heard about on the news where they're beheading people on camera and stuff. If the Sinaloa drug cartel that you guys work for is classic Coke, like the American Mafia, they're an outstanding organization. These guys are like Arctic Mountain Dew, like some crazy flavor that nobody ever really can't believe it sells, right? So the Zetas are scary to you guys. They're the big bads of the setting. And a Polizetta is kind of a pun. They're like a cop who's trained who's gone to the other side. In this case, you would work for the federal government, not local cops don't. They just try to stay out of the way of the cartels. The federales, they actually are trying to shut down the cartels. And the fact that you work for them means that you're on the inside in an important way. So important characters here are the number one is Matt Damon's character from The Departed. He's working for the FBI, but also working for Jack Nicholson's character. And any other time you've got a cop who's a dirty cop.
Everyone on The Shield.
Everybody, the entire cast of The Shield is a Polizetta, yeah, exactly. And then there's the spouse, and La Esposa, again, doesn't have to be a woman. You can have a male character who's the spouse. Phil Vecchione from Mr. Rick and Mark played a great male spouse to Kate Bullock's Narca on one of our earlier games. The Esposa is someone who is married to a cartel member. Could totally be that you're married to the hitman or the halcón or the cop. Often you're married to the narco because that's a lot of fun to be, Carmela from The Sopranos or from Breaking Bad. You're happening with your husband or wife's business, but you have secrets of your own. And in a classic telenovela fashion, your secrets may actually be the thing that come to light and cause trouble for you. Okay. So are there characters that folks are looking to play? And especially, I would love for somebody to play Lorata, but if we don't play it, that's fine. But if somebody is interested in that, I would encourage you to grab it.
I'm looking at the Cocinero and La Policeta, but I can play La Rata if no one else wants to.
Okay, cool. Couple preferences there. Anybody else?
I'm just going to say up front, I always like to wait until everyone else is picked and then pick from what's left.
Sure.
Especially because we got a new Gauntleteer.
Couple new Gauntleteers, yeah, sure. Asher, any preferences?
I was looking at the drug maker person.
The Cocinero?
Cocinero.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have a lot of the touchstones, so they're kind of out of the way a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, cool. Why don't you take that character and let's see. Robert, how about you? Any that sound interesting to you?
Yeah, actually, I think I do like Lorata.
All right, great. Go for it. Yeah, that sounds good. So Robert's going to be Lorata, Asher will be El Cocinero, and then Maria, you said La Polizetta. Do you want to do that one?
La Policetas, yes.
I think that's great. I would love to have a Polizetta and Rata in the game. We'll see how it goes. And Jim.
I have never played El Halcon, so
okay,
I'm going to do that. Yeah,
right.
which means you're El Narco.
Yeah, I am El Narco, so yeah. I get to tell you what this what the plaza is like. Although to be fair, like your characters may just not know. Like El Narco may have a massive migrant smuggling organization that you just have never seen, right? Like there are secrets upon secrets. You might not even know who El Narco is. We'll find out over the course of the game, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So when you make your character, go ahead and grab the playbook. I will. We'll just fire up a Google Doc in terms of dealing with the character keeper. I'll get one put up here. But what you want to do is identify first what your name is, your look, and your gear. Your gear is basically everything on the list. You get it all. There's not a lot of choices in gear. Gear doesn't matter a ton in Cartel. I mean, you can get a gun if you need a gun. It's not a big deal. But this is the stuff you start with that you just got to have on your person. And you're going to want to choose your stats. There are 4 stats to go over them quickly. Face is your stat for broadcasting out. It's your stat for convincing people to do what you want, not because of their personal relationship with you, but because you're convincing and you make good offers. You justify your behavior. You convince them that you're telling them the truth and they should do what you want. As opposed to hustle, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is more about pulling them in. So characters with a high face include El Narco. People listen to what El Narco has to say. And I believe La Polizetta, La Polizetta is face 1. It's Lorata. You're pretty good at keeping people at bay because your excuses and your lies are convincing. Grit is your push your luck mechanic. If you ever played Apocalypse World, it's cool. If you played Urban Shadows, it's Spirit. Like it's the stat for when nothing else counts, grit is what you got. The cook is a lucky motherfucker. Like that's his main thing, right? Is that like things are going to work. Everything's coming out, Walter, right? It's going to work out for you. The Halcon has high grit in certain situations. So look at your move where the Halcon might just get lucky. Hustle is about pulling people in when you try to convince them to do what you want by pressuring them. Like, hey, I'm your buddy. Help me out here. That's hustle. The same is true for getting the truth out of them. So when you're trying to figure out, well, what are you saying? Is it true? Is it false? That's hustle. And then finally, savagery. Savagery has 2 main uses. One is figuring out what people are up to, like reading them, understanding what it would take to get past them, what it would take to get them to do what you want through physical force. And then, of course, turning to violence. And turning to violence in Cartel is always dangerous. There's always a chance for collateral damage, for you to take stress, and for there to be injuries that aren't intentional. It's a game in which violence is not neat and clean, but often messy and painful. Okay. We'll talk about stress when we get into the game, but you're also going to choose 2 keys. Those keys tell you how you mark XP. If you ever played Lady Blackbird, it's a very similar mechanic. When you pick a key, you're going to mark XP every time you hit it. So, for example, for the Sicaria, she has Indomitable. She marks XP when she goes into battle significantly outgunned or outmanned. So it's like, cool, that's happening. I mark XP. Happens, you can do it once per scene. She can also break the key and say, I'm done with this story, and do something that is against the key's idea. So for this one, when she surrenders, instead of fighting, she breaks that key and chooses a new story. So your characters are going to start off with a particular story. You're going to choose 2 keys, and over the course of the session, you might break that key, and we'll see your character take a different path, right? So it might be, in the case of the cook, for example, you might decide to take secrecy, I believe is one of them. Sorry, I just moved all the keys around. Secrets. Mark XP when you lie to someone close to you about your activities. So if you tell a lie to your spouse, oh yeah, I got to go to work, when we know that you actually go to work making drugs, then you're going to mark an XP. When you come clean to them, Skylar, I'm a drug dealer, then you break that key and you choose a new story. Okay, we'll do the enlaces or ties together, but that's the beginning of your playbook. On the back, each of you has some moves, some details to pick, and you can do that for your character. If you have questions, let me know. And I'll go ahead and get the little sheet set up for us.
So when you clear the key, you don't get any XP, right? Like Lady Blackbird,
you actually get a full advance. Like
you
just take an advance flat out, right? Like that's an important moment in the story. You take an advance, and then you get a new key. So you'll never only have 1 key. You'll always have 2. And it's also possible that you can take a key for from somebody else's playbook. Like once you've gotten through your first keys, you can choose where they go. And I totally do have a character keeper for this, so just make a quick copy. I mean, I see people burn a key in the first scene. Like they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, fuck this guy, killing him. And then you're like, oh, wow, that actually breaks one of your keys, right? So that like that's the movie. Is at the beginning of the movie we know you're retired, you don't want to kill anybody, but you know they killed your dog, and that's it. Done. And I'm gonna put the character keeper here in the chat. It's got people stuff in it. We'll just go ahead and delete it out. And Cartel, it only takes 3 experience points to advance, so really try to keep an eye on your experience. At the end of every scene, we'll see, did you hit any of your keys? The whole goal of this is, you may only play 1 session of Cartel because it's kind of got that like drug fiction movie thing. So you might advance 2 or 3 times in the session. That's totally cool. If you have any questions about your moves, let me know. Most of them are fairly straightforward. If you've played Apocalypse World before, They have the 10 plus 7 to 9 miss structure. Clearing stress is a thing for Lorata especially. So real quick, Robert, like you're going to mark stress to do certain things. In fact, you as Lorata have special ways to mark stress in order to keep yourself from being discovered. And clearing stress is a matter of making a stress move. So for example, if you look on page 10 of the quick start, most people clear stress by verbally abusing or shaming others, losing yourself in a substance, confessing your sins to a priest, or dishing out a beatdown. So finding other ways to clear stress can be really beneficial because those ways are tough on you. So like, I go get drunk at a bar. Sounds great until you get too drunk and drunk dial an ex-girlfriend to tell her about how much of a badass narco you are, and then she tells the cops.
I see my main move makes plus extra.
Yeah, so you get extra drugs equal to the size of your lab. So if it's a medium lab or large lab, you would end up with like 2 or 3 extra units of drugs. That depends on the kind of drugs, but it could be like, 5 extra pounds of meth that nobody knows that you made because you made it really efficiently.
All right, so I should keep track of that somewhere.
It'll just happen if you roll enough, right? Like it'll
Okay.
kick in then. If you get a 10 plus, you get it.
And what's ciencia?
Ciencia is science, so it's science cabron is kind of it's a joke,
I
right?
see.
Like cabron is kind of an all-purpose, like it's like asshole kind of, but like your friend asshole, right? Like or not.
It's motherfucker.
Right, but also but also
you
it could be. Go ahead.
You can also use pendejo sometimes.
Yeah, pendejo is usually more negative. It's like, come on.
True.
Right, but cabron is wide. Like I would say that it is. It has a lot of uses. It can be kind of friendly, or it can be kind of like, I'm going to kill you, cabron. That's it, right? So, ciencia cabron is kind of like, let's use science, bitch. Right? It's kind of the inside joke from Breaking Bad. But it means that you have the ability to jury rig stuff. So, for example, that's I grab these chemicals from underneath the sink and I mix them together. And we're not going to worry too much about like which chemicals those actually are. Like we're more interested in the fun of it than we are in the exact science of how you build a smoke bomb out of stuff underneath your sink. Yeah, I think everybody's got a pretty fixed lifestyle. El Narco down, but real quickly, you have sort of a sense of how much money you have based on your lifestyle. So the lowest lifestyle is destitute. So I think somebody like the Halcone, like you're barely making ends meet. You have whatever cash the people above you give you. Going to a dinner at a nice restaurant is a challenge, right? You might end up with $1,000 on you one day, but then like you're just holding it for somebody, right? However much you spend it, it's your problem. Up from that level is impoverished. That's where you're like, you are struggling, but you probably have a stable place to live and like things are okay. Above that is stable, in which case you are debt. You probably have a house, a car, a bank account. Your car breaking down is not like the worst thing in the world. You can get it fixed, that kind of thing. And then there is luxury, in which you have a very large house and plenty of cash on hand. And then extravagant, which is like, I have bought 10 cars today as gifts for my friends. Right? And so that scale tells us when you're going to strain your finances. If you say, "Well, I go buy a taco," yeah, whatever, you get money for a taco. But if you're like, I take this person out to a nice dinner to impress them. Well, if you're the narco, sure, whatever. If you're the Halcone, you're going to have to strain your finances to search the couch cushions for enough cash to pull that off. Maria, I love that picture. That's great.
Thanks.
Let me see if I can share my screen here so that people can see it too. Yeah, that's perfect. We didn't talk about heat as a stat. It's fixed on your character sheet. You can't alter it at the start of play. Basically, it indicates how often the police are interested in you. The highest heat is El Narco, who has a +2. The lowest heat is La Esposa, who has a -2. When we roll heat, it's like a backwards move, like the hard move in Apocalypse World. You would like to roll low, so adding stuff to it is bad. We'll talk about that if it comes up. But the main reasons you roll heat are because you leave a messy crime scene, and we have to find out if the police take any interest in that messy crime scene. And messy doesn't just mean like you killed somebody in an alley, although that might be messy. It's like there were gunshots and people might have called the cops. There's when you run from the police, if they're actively pursuing you. And then, of course, there's doing your business in public. So maybe like, picking somebody up off the street in a pretty public fashion is different than going to their apartment. Asher, let me know if you have any questions about your drug lab, but go ahead and make your choices on it.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. So, thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
That goes in the last boxes.
I think I'm done until enlaces.
Yeah, I think you're set. Merced is pretty good. I like it.
And we start with 2 stress because we just start with 2 stress, right?
You always start with 2 stress. It's your it's the cost of being in a drug cartel.
All right, cool.
Law Esposa is the only character you can start a session with 0 stress.
Asher, you put up +1 somewhere.
I'm gonna go see if I can get this set up. Okay. How's that?
Oh, you mean the have the character sheet separate?
Yeah, can everybody still hear me okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not doubled or anything weird? No, cool. style line here so everybody can see it across the board. Okay, anybody got any questions?
I was just curious, like, more about what the city looks like, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So Durango, I can show you some pictures here. Durango is kind of known for actually having a number of like cool cathedrals and stuff. So like this is kind of the iconic picture of Durango is this giant cathedral. Or here, this is the plaza. Not to be confused with the plaza is a drug term, but this is the plaza of Durango. Most Mexican cities have this kind of structure where there'll be a plaza in the center of town. Even Albuquerque has that. Like there's an old town plaza here, and then Santa Fe has a plaza. So it has this kind of color that's maybe a little unfamiliar to folks who are from like maybe the East Coast, but it's more brown and beige and colorful than gray and brick. In terms of where it's located, this is I love the internet. Look at this. It's like I said, it's fairly far south. It's kind of central in Mexico, and generally, you're going to have a sense of that kind of El Mariachi feel, right? Where there's this like Spanish architecture, but also this sort of indigenous native influence that kind of gives it this colonial feeling. And it has this sort of beautiful look at night of things lit up and kind of being bright and sort of I don't know what the word exactly is, but ornate or baroque at times. So that's kind of what it looks like. But it's also like a regular city. So there's going to be office parks and regular. It's not somehow lost in time. Like it's a regular city. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. But also remember, since we're playing in this sort of like Robert Rodriguez-esque worlds, like sometimes there's just a bunch of pigeons that are like take off as you enter the plaza, right? And doves and things, right? So there's this sense of the ornate and over the top, right, as well. So cool. All right, so it looks like we're getting pretty close to everybody having their stuff together. Yeah, more or less. And we'll start doing some introductions. Why don't we start? We'll go kind of right to left here. Make sure Jim's all set. But let's start with Mercedes and go across. So Maria, why don't you tell us about your Polizeta?
So Mercedes is a Polizeta. She's a woman with young eyes, business skills, and a stable lifestyle. Her move, she starts with Infiltrado, or Infiltrada in this case. And she has En Asunto and Disciplinada as her secondary moves. I think I get to.
Yeah, totally. So you're in the anti-cartel task force. You report to the cartel stuff. You learn about how close they're getting, and you're kind of always mixed up in things. You show up on the scene when the cops show up, and you occasionally have to shoot people. Like you're a go get 'em kind of officer.
Yeah.
Cool.
So my new partner is Moreno. Reyes is suspicious of me.
Yeah, what made Moreno suspicious of you?
Well, Reyes suspicious.
Oh, sorry. Your new partner is Moreno. Yeah.
I want to say I've been hanging around Art a lot.
Okay.
La Rata.
So
if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe so you have had extensive contact with Cartel members, and Reyes is getting suspicious about what that means.
Yeah.
Great.
And Moreno is my new partner who is his new period to this stuff.
What happened to your old partner?
He got fucking shot.
All right, so Moreno, the old partner's dead. We'll leave it open as to who did that. But yeah, so Moreno's this new partner, and Reyes is that another officer in the Cartel task force. Is that right? Okay, great, cool. And then you deal with some NPCs. Tell us about these NPCs.
So Gata almost gave me away. I see Gata as the this I'm not sure if she's gonna be a Nusicaria or Alcona.
Okay.
But it's more like she fucked up and almost gave me away.
Right,
I'm not even sure if she's alive anymore.
Well, we definitely want her to be alive because it's fun to have that character come back. Yeah. Right? But like, yeah, so this is somebody who like killed someone or did something. You had to cover it up and help them get rid of the body. That's great. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. And then what about Zola? She's offered to scam El Narco with you. What has she proposed?
So can you elaborate on like what scamming El Narco means? Because I don't know much about narco fiction. So
yeah, like Zola's got some plan to make money in a way that's outside of the approved ways, right? So you get payments for the cartel, but Zola's like, I can get you more money. What is she proposing?
I think she's proposing that to have some sort of how do I put it? Counterfeit money to pay the drugs with.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So like there's maybe some counterfeit money at the station that you work at, like the confiscated, and you can kind of pass it through the process and you get the real money. That's great. I love it. That's awesome. All right, very cool. Good. All right, great. So the main question I have is what has led you to, I mean, people work really hard to become Federalists. Like what led you to betray the Federalists and start working for the cartels?
I think it was more like I just want money.
So you're just greedy. Like you're just greedy and you're taking advantage of your position to do this. Was this always the plan? Like you went into the police academy with this in mind? Because you grew up in Durango, right? That's part of your character.
Yeah.
So did you go into this? It just happened.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like the plan all along.
All right, great, cool. I love it. So maybe that some narco folks got you, put the right bribes in, pushed you along. You were kind of chosen to do this. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, cool. We'll go to ties in a minute. We'll find out who you're wrapped up with. Let's hear from Asher. So Asher, what tell us about Yolanda?
All right, so Yolanda is like the scientist. So she has clear eyes, casual / business clothes, I guess. Okay. I'm just imagining like a lab coat.
So she runs a clean lab as best as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I guess I should start with the lab then.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So she has professional grade equipment capable of larger cooks. Equipment designed to dispose of dangerous chemicals.
Okay.
The lab is difficult to reach at all times or sometimes inaccessible. And it's poorly secured or locked down against intruders and thieves. I was imagining it off like somewhere in the desert or something, so it's hard to get to.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good. So is it like tucked away somewhere where more security would look suspicious? Is that why it's exposed?
I was just imagining it was kind of in the middle of nowhere, so no one would even look there. So they didn't really think to hide it.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so we'll say like outside of town, like kind of you have to drive down a dirt road to get there and everything. That sounds cool.
And then I have the main move to make drugs.
Yep.
And then the Ciencia one.
So you're good at like jury rigging stuff with chemicals, right? So how did you learn to do all this science? Like, do you have a professional degree? Did you study somewhere? Have you just gotten good at it? Like, what makes you a good cook?
I think I had like a internship in the States or something, right? Like I was there for like maybe a semester, and so that got me experience working with different things, and then
That's great.
I
Cool.
I used that to keep working on things and eventually got here.
Okay, and why do you make illegal drugs instead of going back to the States if you've already got relationships and things there? Like, why not just, go get a real job doing pharmaceutical work?
Well, I don't have a degree or anything, right? This is all like home learned. I just had like, a couple classes or something.
So your character's really smart, but like doesn't have the professional credentials to like make something more.
Yeah, maybe I just had enough to like inherit this lab from someone.
Oh, that's great. Good, yeah. Or like maybe the people at the university were throwing away a bunch of stuff, and you're like, I'll just take that off your hands, right? I'll just put it in my truck and get rid of it for you or whatever. And you got that's great. I love it. Cool. And so, how did you end up working for the cartels? Did they approach you? Did you approach them?
I think they approached me.
Okay.
Like maybe I got this lab and all right. Maybe they already had connections and approached me about it, or I'm trying to think.
That's great. We don't need to be more specific than that. That's cool. Like they helped you get this stuff moved out, just as a favor to you, and of course you'll cook drugs for them, and you've kind of fallen into this routine of making drugs.
Yeah, and then the last move I have is to get rid of a body with chemicals. So that's another thing I can do.
Have you ever done that before? Or do you just know you can?
That's a good question. I don't think I did it in the lab before, but maybe I think I've done it before.
All right, great, cool. That's
like
awesome.
Help people or something. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk really briefly about your keys. I think that it's pretty obvious where Maria's keys were coming from. She's got schemes and pride, which kind of play into her, like, I'm a selfish, double-crossing, two-faced agent. Tell us about your secrets. Like, you have a key for secrets. Who are you keeping your secrets from?
I think it would be like my family, like tying into the other key of debt. Like they just think I don't think they know like the degree to which this has gotten out of hand, and I don't really want to let people know.
Great. Are you married? Like, do you have kids? Like, what do you mean by family?
I think. I think I'm married with kids, but maybe they don't live in this city. Maybe they're off in like a smaller town. So I just go visit them every once in a while or something. I
mean, that's cool if you want, but like, I mean, part of Cartel is like messiness, right? So like almost like let's put him, if it's cool with you, let's put him in the city. Let's give your husband or wife a job that they do that's a normal everyday job, so that your secrets like mean something, right?
All right.
Because you get XP when you lie to them, right? Remember that.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if like my direct family wasn't here, but maybe we had like a larger family in the city.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
cousins and things.
Great. So what does your husband think you do here in town that requires you to live here while he lives, a couple hours to the east?
That's a good question too.
Or, I mean, if I can make a suggestion, your family lives outside of town, but you've got someone you're seeing in town.
Well, we might get there. Yeah, for sure. That's a good thing. Put an asterisk. Yeah.
Why do you need all that extra money? Because you got someone you're keeping in an apartment in town.
Yeah, that's good too. Well, Asher, why don't you think about it and we'll come back to you. Like we'll keep moving so you can kind of think about some of these questions. But yeah, like I think the cook works really well if you've got like the family around that are normal and kind of pull on you in normal ways. So good. All right, Jim, let's go over to you. Tell us about Lupita.
All right, Lupita Lupi is a woman with quick eyes and gang clothes. The gear that I normally have is a destitute lifestyle, a 9mm, a shit car, a truck, a few burner phones. I don't have a shit car or truck. I have a dirt bike.
Oh, good, cool.
And my gang are all like skaters and BMXers and like dirt bikes, like aficionados. Like we're basically like skate punks.
Yeah, that's cool.
What else do we need to know about her? She's I bumped my hustle, so that's going to be their thing. My keys are ambition. I mark XP when I get someone important to let me handle business on their behalf, and bold. When I willingly enter a perilous situation without precautions or deception, like skating down a railing without any pads.
Yeah.
And I can clear it when I retreat from a messy situation that might still work out for me.
So yeah, you are a go-getter, right? You're all in.
Yeah, and just so that in terms of what you take tells the MC what you might be interested in. My moves are, I've got Hermanos, which is when I try to that's getting my gang to do stuff to follow my lead on something dangerous, costly, or out of the ordinary. That's my standard role. The other two ones I took are Bandito, when you're completely focused on escaping, push your luck with hustle instead of grit, and add 1 if I get fucking shot while trying to flee. So we are good at getting out of sticky situations that we get ourselves into. And the other one I took is Matador. Fill your stress track to turn to violence against an unsuspecting target as if you rolled a 10+, which just when I looked at that and said, oh, hey, here's a move that encourages me to fill my stress track. That seemed like fun. So
it's also a reminder that unsuspecting targets still require you to roll in Cartel.
Yes.
Right? It's not like a black ops roll where you just, hey, that guy, he's dead, right?
Yep.
Because what's interesting about the roll is there collateral damage?
Yeah.
Do you mark stress? What does it cost you? You're just like 10+, right? You just fill that stress track. But it shakes you. You leave like, what did I just do?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I've got a gang. Do we want to talk about my
totally.
I don't know.
To be clear for everybody else, it's a pandilla, which is like a crew. So like skate crew is not a bad way of thinking about it. They're not like a gang like Apocalypse World. Hey, I've got 20 savages. They're like your good friends from middle school, right? Or whatever.
It's my posse.
Your posse, totally. Yeah, tell us about your posse.
My posse are Blanco, Lola, and Zanahoria.
Okay.
And I've got 3 questions which correspond to the 3 loyal amigos I've got. Who's here to cheer you up when shit gets tough? And that is Lola. And Lola is a trans girl, and she's like just she is tough as shit, and like just finds a way. Like even the grimmest, worst, most horrible thing that happens, she can like find a way to crack a joke about it.
Cool.
Who's a real puto, but you just can't cut them loose, and that's Blanco. She like she wants to be a professional skater, which is a ridiculous idea, and she's always doing stupid, risky shit that she doesn't have to because she's so into the skating part of it, but sometimes we just need her to get the job done.
Okay.
But actually, it's kind of cool to watch her really shred something that none of us would even think about trying, and so I can't cut her loose. It's almost like you have that friend who does crazy shit, and you love watching the crazy shit, but it's going to get them killed.
So she's like a train wreck you can't quite turn away from.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And the last one is who is solid, ready to. I'm not sure what that word means. And trolley.
To go, ready to get it done.
Okay, when you need them, and that's Zanahoria, and she is someone who I've known since we went to secondary school together. We grew up together on the street since we were little girls. Let's say I think our moms are cousins.
Yeah, great.
So she's kind of related, whatever. Whatever.
That's definitely related. Moms are cousins. That's family.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So my crew's got 2 features. One is that we're down for Fiesta. We roll with hustle instead of grit when we all get lost in a substance together. We like to have a party, and we are down for a fight. We roll with hustle instead of savagery when we rough someone up as a crew. So all together. We've got 2 vulnerabilities. One is that we are on La Policia's radar because we've been getting busted and rousted out of places since we were 11 or 12 years old.
Right.
Not necessarily they know that we're hooked up with the cartel, but we're public. We've been public nuisances for half a decade. So they know who we all are. And the other one is your crew has kids and shit. I don't think we've got kids, but oh my God, we've got brothers and sisters and moms, and our moms are cousins, and there's a whole yeah. I mean what we've got is moms and dads, and siblings. So.
Cool. So Zanahoria actually means carrot, so it's like a nickname almost. Is it just her name, or does she have red hair, or is there something about her that makes her kind of carrotish, or is it just her name?
If it's just her name, I would be very pissed off at her mom for naming her that.
I think when she was a little girl, she had red hair.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
And but now she's got a skater bleach job.
Yeah.
And maybe just the roots are a little red when it grows out, but she hates that, and she hates that nickname. But we've all called her that since she was a little carrot top kid, even though she doesn't look that way anymore.
Yep. She's not getting it. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Good. And I mean, just to be clear, so you do this work with the cartel because it's your best option, right? This is the most successful thing you're going to get your hands on.
Yeah, I mean, we may get we can get around the city fast in ways that I think we're the you need something somewhere in 20 minutes, no kidding. If there's traffic, we're all fucked. Because we can just rocket down alleys and do whatever, fucking parkour over, fences and stuff like this to get shit where it needs to be fast if you need something somewhere fast.
That's great. Cool. Okay. And last but not least, let's go to Robert and let's hear about Arturo.
Yeah, so I'm playing Arturo, goes by Art. He's a guy with clear eyes. Usually you can see him walking around in street clothes. He knows a lot of people on the street. So when he goes looking for anybody kind of in the cartel for help with a problem, he can usually find them. So that's his move, Conectada. Also, when he shares a night of intimacy with a lover, he can potentially clear his stress check.
Yeah.
And then I also get +1 face is my third move, which is Mentirosa.
So you have face 3.
Yeah, so my face is bumped up to 3.
You are an excellent liar, right? Like that's what Mentirosa is kind of a joke from a lot of. It's a very common thing to see on telenovelas. Mentiroso, right? Like you liar, right? So you're a great liar. What is it you typically do for the cartel? Because you're like kind of a mid-tier person. You're not like the lowest one. So tell us here in terms of like who you work with regularly, who's asking for your help, all that stuff. Tell us about what you do for the cartel.
Yeah, so there's a few people in the cartel I work with regularly, which is Eliza, Esteban, Gata, Tomas, and Zola. And we mostly handle counting the money and collecting the money. Like they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes.
So the good thing is we're always around the money. The bad thing is, being always around the money can lead to greed.
Yeah, that's great. I like it a lot.
And also considering the money might be fake. Also.
Yeah.
That's good. So you gotta tell us you have somebody who's always asking you for help.
Yeah, so Zola, I think, is always asking me for help, but that's because she also suspects me as being treacherous. Okay. So sometimes maybe she'll ask me to do stupid things just to make sure, if somebody was really a backstabber or a traitor, they would just follow every order blindly. They don't want to be suspicious. And so she kind of just checks me every now and then and says, yeah, go do the, why don't you just go, switch these hundreds out for, 50s and see what happens, see if anybody notices.
That's great. So is Zola like your boss in some ways?
Yeah, I think she's probably considered my manager.
Okay, cool. So you don't have much. She's probably the highest level person you have contact with.
Yeah, I think so. Like, they keep it separated. So I know her, but I don't really know anybody above her.
That's great. Cool. Okay, great. So let's see. You've got a couple of keys picked out: guilt and paranoia. So what is it that's made you betray the cartel?
I think it's probably just I'm looking for a better life. Like maybe I've been in the cartel. I've lived longer than you should live in the cartel, and I'm like, my days are numbered, so I need to get out at some point.
You gotta get out of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So in terms of the choice you made, is it because you're tired of the killing and death? Is that the one that you picked?
Yeah, I think it's I'm just tired of all the chaos, the killing, the death. Yeah. I just need to get out because I've seen too many of my friends go down. I've seen too many of my enemies go down.
It's time to move out. Good.
Yep.
Okay. Love it. That sounds awesome. You've got a couple of things you can do with stress that other people can't. So remember to pay attention to those on your survivor track, right? All of them are about marking stress, so you're going to fill stress up much more quickly than other folks. Cool. Awesome. Good. Okay. So I think we're all set. Let's go ahead and do our enlaces. Let's start with Mercedes. So Mercedes, what's your first enlace that you want to do?
Okay, so let's go with the first one. I grew up with someone on the streets of Durango. You still have a beer after work if you're both free. It's nice to know someone who isn't involved with either side of your double life. I was thinking Yolanda until I read that they're not involved with either side, but it could be Yolanda if I don't know about it.
It could totally be Yolanda, right? Just because she's the cook doesn't mean you know that she's the cook.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
All right, great. So you and Yolanda grew up in Durango. Yolanda may or may not know. We'll find out as we do the other ties, but you don't think that she does this. So let's go back to Yolanda real quick. Yolanda, what do you do here in Durango that you've told, your husband and told this nice woman you grew up with who's now a police officer? What have you told them you do for a living?
I think I work at a paper supply company, like selling papers. So I came up with the name Polyfolio.
Okay, great. So does this company exist and you don't work there, or it doesn't really exist?
I think I send them some chemicals, but that's not the majority of the business, just like a contractor there or something.
Okay, great. So you occasionally go check in and like take a paycheck and do some things, but it's kind of a front, right? Love it. Okay, cool. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and go on to Yolanda. Yolanda, go ahead and do your one of your enlaces.
That's a good one. I just looked at the first. Someone and my spouse spent time together, but you'd prefer it if they weren't involved in your life. Tell them what they did to anger you.
That's the esposo.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing.
No, it's fine.
Maybe someone got me into this business.
Sure, go for it.
Helped me with financial troubles, but didn't tell you the whole story. Now you're both stuck. So I'm thinking Lupe or Art.
Those are both be pretty good. I mean, Art is a well-known, like at least within the cartel, he's a pretty well-known narco dude. So like that would make a lot of sense. Also makes sense for Lupe to have said, "Hey, I know you from the neighborhood, or we're family, or something," and kind of put you in contact with the right people. Which one sounds like more fun?
Maybe Art.
Okay, cool. So Art, you mostly collect and handle money. What led to you bringing a new cook into the organization?
I think maybe we had a raid on one of our labs, and so we were down money, and I didn't want that to look suspicious.
Yeah.
So I just did everything I could to find somebody new to bring in.
Love it. Great. Yeah, Art's a hustler. He's going to get it done. That's awesome. Good. And in terms of you, like he didn't tell you the whole story, right? So what is it that he didn't tell you, Yolanda? What has surprised you about your work for the cartel?
I'm just thinking about our like different means. Like they make a lot less money than I do. Because there's like that tension going on.
Okay, cool. So like people look at you strangely, right? Like you're more valuable than maybe you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They've also probably told you not to tell anybody because other cartels might straight up kidnap you to get you to make drugs for them.
All right.
Yep.
That's
cool.
good to know.
Good. Lupe, let's have you do one.
All right. Me and I'm gonna say Art have a plan to make some real money.
That's good.
And Art worries it's not gonna work, but I know it's a sure thing. And like Art, what is your like big score that's gonna get you the money like to be out and done that I can help you with? And assuming that works for you, is that
Yeah.
cool for you?
Yeah, that works. I'm trying to think of, I think maybe we just have a big shipment. Like we've just made a big sale and we have the money coming in.
Yep.
And we know that we actually kind of scammed them a little bit. We're getting more money than we should be. And so as we're counting the money, we need to be siphoning off a little bit each time. And so that's our big payday.
So why do you worry this isn't going to work? Like, why do you worry that giving small, like little packets that you can kind of siphon off and give to these street kids? Why do you worry? Like, as I say it, what are your concerns with why this plan might fall apart?
I think that it's such a big payday that El Narco might be sending, extra guards or, one of his favorite accountants to come and double check our work.
Okay, so this is the plan. Now, one thing here to make it kind of really make it fit narco fiction. So one of the things that your plaza does is take money from other cartels to move stuff through the plaza. So it could be that there's a big shipment coming from someone else, which is why there'll be multiple briefcases of money, right? More than usual. And that would be the perfect time for one of those to go missing, and then they'll just blame each other, right? But if El Narco is prepared for that and has everybody counting the money and making sure it works, then it's not going to work out.
No, and this is totally going to work because we can get you out of town before they know it's gone. It's not like, I kind of like the idea, if you're cool with this, that like there's no way that they're not going to notice it. It's a question of timing that like we have to get out of town before they notice it, and that's what the plan hinges on.
Yep. Cool. All right. Sounds good. Next up, Arts.
I think going right alongside with that, I think Lupe knows about my status as an informant, but they haven't told anybody yet, and I've got to find a way to ensure that they're safe. Yeah, they're silenced. So they know that I'm an informant, but they don't care because we have this idea of making some money off of it.
Okay, cool. So the idea is that maybe part of this is you know that if the money's in place and El Narco's there, that you can tell the cops and they'll roll up on El Narco and you just walk away with the money and everybody's happy.
Yeah, I show them the money, that's kind of evidence, and then I get it as a finder's fee.
Yeah, totally. And you've told the street punks about this plan.
Yep. Who else can you trust?
Who else can you trust? Exactly. All right, Mercedes, let's do your second one.
I was thinking that Art is my main contact in the cartel, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And tell them where you to go to speak directly when you need a face-to-face meeting. Oh, hold on. I think if it's okay with you, Robert, I want to say that my character is the one who has the tipping point as to like why you're betraying the cartel. Basically, I'm pitting you against the cartel for whatever reason. If that makes sense. Or like the reason why, or like one of the reasons of that you're against the cartel is because I prodded you or something.
Well, all this is saying is that you are his contact, or sorry.
Yeah, but
he's
like
your contact, right? So let's do that first, right? So
okay, let's do that first.
Yeah. So he's been set up for you to get in contact with him. If like something goes down, Art's the person you're supposed to call, right? So where do you meet if you need face-to-face time? If it's like, I don't want to have, and in general, phones are relatively safe because you guys switch out burner phones all the time, but they're also, sometimes you need to meet face-to-face. So where do you meet face-to-face when it's time?
Is there a cathedral or is it just a church?
Oh, the cathedral's great. Yeah, the cathedral and the plaza. I mean, there's all kinds of tourists there. It's easy to see. Yeah, great. I love it. Okay, cool. That sounds good. So yeah, we'll figure out exactly how you and Arturo relate as we go forward, but that's a good start.
Okay, cool.
Yolanda, how about you? Let's do your second and last thing.
Should we try to define this family, or should I?
You could totally point towards other PCs. Usually, we try to do that first, and then if something doesn't fit, we do the NPCs.
Okay, so I was thinking of making Mercedes my found family, I guess.
That sounds good.
They don't know what I do for the cartel, and I'm not sure I can keep it a secret for long.
Okay, great. So she explicitly doesn't know. You view her as family, close family. She's somebody you trust a ton, and here she is. She's a federale, right? Like, you're in over your head, and this is the person that you just don't think you can keep your secrets from.
Yeah, maybe we both grew up in the city together or something.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. And you could also just be cousins. Like, Mexican families are big, right? So she's a cousin. She's somebody that you're close to. I have cousins that like I only see once every couple of years, but are definitely family, right? And that I would be terribly embarrassed to say, oh, by the way, I work for a drug cartel. Please don't tell your dad who's also a cop, right? So like, yeah, there's definitely some tension there. That's great. Jim, let's go ahead and do your next one.
All right. Yolanda gave me some new responsibilities lately at my request. They have their doubts, but I'll prove them wrong soon.
Great. What are these new responsibilities, Lupe? What have you gotten Yolanda to agree to let you do for the cartel?
I think that it is probably to get raw materials to her.
Okay.
Like if she, because one of the ways that the police find out that you are running a drug thing, you know, like a cookhouse, is if you order, you know, a flatbed truck full of ammonia or something like that, you know, whatever, or you know, you're buying you know, antihistamines by the case and stuff like this. So I think we run stuff to her regularly in small batches so that it's not like traceable as a big shipment. Does that make sense?
Totally. Let's real quick, Yolanda, what kind of drugs do you make? Do you make meth, cocaine? And the difference here is like some things like cocaine have like plant stuff and meth is like all chemicals. So like which one of those two kinds of things?
Probably meth then, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've got some industrial stuff that the cartel helps you get, but you've needed these special chemicals and you've sent these kids out to go get it and bring it back to you. I love it. That's great. So you come in with a bag full of Sudafed, right? Like dump it out and start sorting it out.
Yeah,
so
because we can like every day we can hit the 14 pharmacies in the greater city area by the one box we're allowed to buy, you know, and but then in aggregate it turns out it ends up being something she can actually use.
That's perfect. Good, cool. And Yolanda, how did Lupe convince you to let her do this?
Maybe to keep my cover, like I'm trying to keep my name out of the papers or whatever. So I'll just stay in my lab and they can get the stuff.
So you're frustrated, you're angry, and Lupe's like, you know, I can take care of this for you. Good, I like it. Okay, and Art, go ahead and do your second and last say.
Yeah, so I think if it's okay with you, Yolanda, I'm going to say Yolanda and I started sleeping together a few weeks ago. And the reason why we haven't been able to end things, despite the dangers, is just because I know just how much money she brings in for us. Like, despite being like one of her newest scientists, she's damn good at it.
Okay.
And I don't want to betray her and have her go to some other cartel and start spilling secrets.
So you're worried that you're going to make her mad if you break up with her?
Yeah, and then on top of that, she's going to spill to the other cartels or spill to the cops or spill to anybody what we're doing here and what I'm doing here.
Great. So Yolanda, is that cool with you? Like you two have this relationship that's messy and started a few weeks ago?
Sure, yeah. That'd be good.
Okay. And how accurate is Art's perception of you being mad about breaking up? If he dumped you, would you actually be that upset?
I think I'm more upset that things might change because of this, right? like Art got me into all this and now doesn't want anything to do with me.
Yeah, so you're worried that he may be setting you up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so it's messy. It's not clear yet where you all fall. That's great. Okay, Mercedes, last one.
It's right there. Lupita is the target of an active investigation. I'm not the lead investigator, but you're regularly briefed on the case.
Great. So why has Lupe attracted the attention of the anti-cartel task force? Aren't they trying to get bigger fish than low-level street people?
Well, it's less that they got the anti-cartel task force is more than I got it, because it's more me that pays attention to that, because it's kids from Durango. Like I get briefed regularly because of the gossip more so uh than the investigation task force being.
Is it maybe that they think they can get us to flip because we're kids?
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. Like you're most likely to wear a wire. You're most likely to like take them somewhere, right? You're not hardened criminals yet, like Art over here, who's been a cartel member for a decade, right? Good.
Yeah.
All right, Yolanda, last one.
Last one is someone disapproves of my cartel work and wants
Sorry,
to.
we're gonna do Yolanda first, and then you, Lupe. No problem.
Sometimes with Lupe, we have an understanding and need each other for now, but both of us know the current situation won't last.
So what is it about it that won't last? Like, what is it about this that's unstable?
Maybe he sees that I don't want to be in the spotlight, right? So he's like, "Oh, this can't last for long, you know. Something's gonna break here, you know."
Great. Yeah. So Lupe, it sounds to me like you maybe have figured out that Yolanda may not be cut out for cartel work. This may be too much for her.
Oh yeah.
Good. And your last one, Lupe?
Sorry, and my last one is someone disapproves of my cartel work and wants to get me out.
Yep.
But I'm not a Nina. I can handle my own business, and I think that's Mercedes.
Okay. Great.
And I think it's like Mercedes. What's your relationship to my mom?
I think I'm friends with your mom. We're not family, but we're close friends.
Yeah.
Great. So she knows who you are, and she's trying to get you to get out before you get hurt.
Well, or before, like, I kind of like the idea. It's not before I get hurt. It's specifically before, like, someone assigns her to put a bullet in me.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know that you necessarily like you don't want me getting in the way of making money, right?
So this is the messy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good. All right. And then finally, Art.
Yes, I think Mercedes works with me regularly on cartel business. I don't trust her, but I'm confident that she doesn't know I'm El Rata, right? She just thinks I'm this guy in the cartel with a pretty face.
Great, good. So that's the thing is the anti-cartel task force has an informant in the cartel. That informant is codenamed Mercedes. You don't know who that person is.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure El Narco would very much like to know if you could find out who is betraying his organization. For example, is it that new cook that doesn't seem exactly cut out for this, right? So, all right, well, that sounds good. All right, so we've got everybody set. Let's take just like a 5-minute break. Let me get some water, and then we'll come back and we'll run some real tight, sharp scenes. Does anybody have any questions before we break? Essentially, do our start of session moves because that can be helpful for me to know kind of what we're doing. So I believe we've got 2 of them, right? So let's start with Yolanda's. So let's just find out if you're regularly fully stocked and regularly cooking. You totally are. Let's roll with grit. If you go to the bottom of the spreadsheet, there's a little link for our roll for your party window, so you can go ahead and set up 2 dice for yourself. Oops, sorry, Jim. I just cleared yours. I haven't used this a ton before. Okay, cool. So what's your grit, Yolanda?
It is 1, I think. Yeah, 1.
Great. So that's a 10. So you have a 10 plus. On a 10 plus with your move, you fulfill your obligations to make a little surplus for yourself. So you have 2 extra, like, we're talking about serious amount of math, like, 20 pounds, right? Like a bunch of extra mouth, like 2 big, huge Ziploc bags that nobody is expecting and are not accounted for. That you can do with as you like. So we'll find out what happens with that. And then also, Maria,
I rolled a 6.
you rolled a 6. Okay, great. So when we come back on this, the department catches a hot lead on the cartel before you can intervene. A la verga, which is kind of a general like, penis is it's the worst, right? Like this is terrible. So you are going to have an opportunity to do something. It's not just like, oh, it's over, but yeah, you're gonna be behind. So all right, let's go ahead and, like I said, take a 5-minute break. We'll come back on the hour and we'll get started. Thanks. Good luck. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So let's start with Art. So Art, what have you told your police contacts about Lupe? Because Lupe is the one they're interested in. They want to know more about who she is, who she has contacts with. What have you told them lately that's kept them interested in you? Because there's this game, right? If you don't give them anything, they're not going to protect you. So what have you told them lately that's put them onto Lupe's case?
I think I'm telling them like how often she's just always trying to come up with ideas. Like she's a big thinker for being a small player.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of just giving them the tip that she might be moving up in the organization.
Okay, great. So they're paying attention to her and keeping an eye on what she's doing. Did you give them anything specific about her that they would act on, or have you tried to keep it vague to protect her?
I think instead of ratting her out like straightforwardly like that, I think I'm kind of implicating people in her posse.
Okay.
Like maybe they don't always roll as one, and maybe 3 of them go and do this job, or 2 of them are, one of them goes off to do a solo job. So I think maybe I ratted out one of them in her posse that was going to do a solo job.
Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. So which one of the 3 did you point the cops at?
I think it was Blanca.
Okay, awesome, good. So Blanca has been collecting these supplies for Yolanda, and she's gotten pretty tired of this, like going store by store by store. It's a lot of work. So what did she propose that you probably said explicitly no to, Lupe, that she just probably went ahead and did anyway? Like, how does she think we could do this faster, better, quicker, get back to doing shit that's actually fun? What does she think she could do to shortcut this situation? Lupe, what did she propose to you, Lupe, that like would shortcut this, like having to go store to store to store situation?
Oh, to me, sorry.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She doesn't want a shortcut going store to store to store.
Okay.
But we actually go in and buy the stuff and then
right.
bring it to it. She sees no reason why they give us money. As long as they get the stuff, it doesn't matter whether who ends up with that money they gave us to buy the stuff.
Right. Yeah. They gave it to us. We decided what to do with it. Right.
Yeah. And like the obvious answer there is because if like you don't want to fuck up a job for the cartel because some like old lady sees you boost something off of a store shelf.
Yeah.
And the kind of and there's a certain amount of stuff we're going after that's really hard to steal. So like the plan kind of breaks down. But she's like, why don't we just keep they're giving us money to do this job. Why don't we just keep the money and do the job a different way as long as it gets done? Perfect.
That sounds great.
And that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. So Yolanda, let's start with the scene with Yolanda and Lupe. So Lupe, you've been getting all these drug components together, dropping them off as a crew, and so we see your maybe like kind of like one extended shot of you paying for something at the counter, getting it, putting it in your bag where we see that there are like 17 other boxes, right? Zipping it up on your backpack, hopping on your bike, and like driving out to this lab, right? In the desert.
Yeah. And if it really is that remote, you may need like dirt bikes or a 4x4 just to get there.
Totally. Yeah. I love it. Right. So yeah. So you as you pull up, you see that Lola and Xana are already here. And when they drop stuff off to you, Yolanda, do you like sort it out? What do you do with it that kind of we can see that you're a professional, that you're actually pretty good at what you do?
Yeah, I think I start putting it like in the order that I would need to use it, like make a little bit and put it in a bag and make a little bit and put it in another bag, Yeah,
so like you're directing them to help you with stuff, right? Because they're I mean, they basically work for you, right? Like, you
Right.
do this stuff, right? So, cool, yeah. And as you pull up, Lupe, you see that, like, there's no, Blanca's not here.
Which is weird because she like prides herself on getting it done fastest. And I kind of roll up and I'm like, what the fuck? Have either of you seen Blanca?
Zana and Lola kind of look back and forth. Like, Lola says, she said she was going to go. She was going to go to the stores in the north. Like, you know, she said that they were. What's the word she used? And Zana says, sloppy.
Oh, for fuck's sake! And I, you know, like sling my backpack over one shoulder, and I reach into the little pocket in the back, and I pull one of the 3 phones out that I've got in there, and it's sorry, 4 phones, one for each of my gang, and one that the cartel can call me on.
Yeah.
And I flip it open and I press the call button, and the only number in there is Blanca's.
Yeah. Cool. So while you're calling, Yolanda, what did you do with the extra drugs you made today? Like, did you set them aside? Like, did you hide them somewhere? Like, what are you doing with these extra drugs?
I think I'll give them to the people who helped me get the components. I'll give them a little prepay, you know, for
that's
helping
awesome.
out.
Good. So yeah. So like Zana and Lola are loading up the bags into their backpacks, right? Because they drop this stuff off. They're going to take the drugs and take them to the distribution center. So as they're loading them up, like Lola, like while the phone is ringing, like gets your snaps at you and gets your attention, and there are just 2 bags of extra meth there.
What do we?
It goes to voicemail.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The mailbox has not been set up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Fuck. I flip it closed, and I'm like, shit. We have shit to do today. We can't deliver this to anyone.
It's for you. It's not part of the. Yeah. It's just a thank you.
Okay. What the fuck?
So this sounds like a perfect time to talk about Get the Truth. So we ask people questions all the time. We say things like, how's the weather? And we don't really care about the answer. But when you care about the answer, it's time to get the truth out of somebody. So Jim, can you read the Get the Truth move on page 9?
When you try to get the truth out of someone, roll with hustle. On a hit, clear 1 stress. On a 10+, pick 2. On a 7 to 9, pick 1. And then there's a pick list that is one of my favorite pick lists in any AW any Powered by the Apocalypse game, which is the 3 options are: they can't mislead you with the truth, they can't confuse you with falsehoods, they can't stonewall you with silence. So there is literally no way to get all 3 of those.
There's not.
So,
unless there are certain characters who can sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, and this goes for like this conversation. So it's not just like the next answer. It's like.
And I say, okay, I know a fucking setup when I see one. I don't know what you're setting us up for, but this is a fucking setup.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
All right, so hustle is what I'm good at. So I got a +2 there. So that is a 9.
Yep. So go ahead and pick one option off the list.
Can't stonewall me with silence.
Great. So what that means is you have to say something real here. You can't just be like, look, I don't want to talk about it, or how's them cubbies, right? Like, it has to be an actual answer to the question, Yolanda. But you can lie. You can say half-truths. And, of course, you can always tell the truth, but, you know, whether he believes you or not is up to him.
Let's say she.
Oh, sorry, she. Whether she believes you.
Yes, since we're addressing the characters, yeah.
Yeah. Whether Lupe believes you is up to her. So, Yolanda, what do you say?
I guess I'll just say, like, I'm not going to sell this, you know? So you can either take it or I can give it to someone else.
So are we supposed to take from that you are confessing a little bit of discomfort with what it would take to do something with these?
Right.
Yeah, I love the answer. I'm not going to fucking sell it. Like, that's, you know, and I nod and I say, okay, what do we owe you for this?
Just continuing to get supplies, you know? I wanted to make sure that I'll be in business for the foreseeable future, you know?
All right. Works for us.
So it sounds to me like this might be a place where you could push it, Yolanda, and you could make an offer and try to get something from them. But if all you're doing is saying, like, look, I just want us to have a good relationship and these are yours, that's not much of an offer. You're not demanding anything back, so there's no roll, right? But at the same time, then there's nothing that you're going to definitely get from the other side, right?
Yeah, so I think I'll push for an offer and...
Okay. Is that, like, you all keep delivering stuff on time regularly, and this is yours?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great,
That
cool.
sounds good.
Awesome. So go ahead and make an offer for me then on page 9.
Propose a deal?
Sorry, propose a deal. I apologize. Yeah, propose a deal.
When you propose a deal to get what you want, roll with face. On a 10+, they have to choose. Take the deal as it stands or mark stress. On a 7 to 9, they can instead choose one. Disclaim authority for accepting the offer. Adjust the price plus or minus 20% and accept. Or point you at another interested party. All right.
Okay.
And I'll roll. This is face, so I have 0. And I got a 2, so that did not go well.
All right, great. So I'm gonna say this. So Jim, like Yolanda kind of sputters some stuff about, you know, helping out or something, but you get the sense that she doesn't really know what it would take to get you to do this repeatedly, and like she's not got a good handle on these drugs. And Lola kind of looks at you and opens her backpack up and slides the drugs in and zips it up. And as far as you're concerned, like, Yolanda doesn't have much of a hold on you in this.
I grin and say, same time tomorrow. And we hop on our bikes and we're headed into, and we're gonna drop these off and then go north, I think.
Yeah, great. So Yolanda, why don't you mark a stress for me, right? And the reason here is because you realize that, like, you didn't particularly negotiate great with the, like, street kids that hang around and bring you drugs. What's going to happen when El Narco shows up here? And as you look around the lab, what is it that you see that makes you realize how much you're in over your head? Is it the equipment? Is it, like, what is it that makes you realize, like, oh man, this is more than I could probably deal with?
I think I'm just looking at the setting. Like, I have to get, like, if I don't have people delivering things, then I need to get, like, in and out of here every day. And it's, like, so far. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere here.
Yeah. So you have this sense of, like, you're in really deep, right? And it's going to be hard for you to get out. And these kids that you're relying on, I mean, maybe they get hit by a truck tomorrow. Like, how secure are you? Okay. So, Marcus Stress, let's cut over to our Polizetta. So where do you usually work? Mercedes, like, how does your day look normally?
So I have a government vehicle.
I think we lost you, Maria. Nope. Okay, cool. While we wait for... Oh, you're back. Yay.
I don't know what happened. But police car, as in bike, rather police bike. I'm at a police bike.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. And
And
what do you
I'm
what
not
is your
sure what.
what does your typical day look like?
I think I'm on patrol for most of it, most of the daytime. I'm on patrol, but like pretending to be a police officer, a normal police officers.
Well, you work for the Federalis, right? So you're kind of
Yeah.
one step up from that. So you probably wouldn't necessarily like go patrol like they're regular cops
Okay.
that do that.
Okay.
But like you might be pretty mobile, like you might go around and do various things. So I noticed that you picked for your cool stuff that you have tracking devices or bugs. So like your whole unit is devoted to trying like the wire, right? Like you're devoted to trying to crack this case and get El Narco, right? Whoever is in charge of drugs in this part of Durango, right? So are you on surveillance a lot?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense. Yeah, I'm on. And is it okay to say that I placed a bug on Lupita or at some point?
I think that's something we probably want to do during the game, right? But like,
Okay, that
yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
the thing you can do for sure. Yeah. So
Okay.
while you're out, kind of doing surveillance, like maybe you're parked somewhere where you can see some of the like local drug sales that you're not super interested, but you're watching to see if you see anybody of note. You get a call from Moreno.
Okay. What is it?
Hey, so I know you're out doing some surveillance, but Reyes just walked into the office and he's got like some kid in handcuffs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like apparently he picked her up. I don't know. Like everything's all classified. I don't even know. Like I looked it up on the computer. He's already processed her, but it's all like locked down. Apparently there's some like it says here INF, which is that the code for informant?
Hold up. I'm going there. And then I'll be there in like 15 minutes. Hold
All
the
right,
fort until I get there. And
Wait, what do you want me to do?
make sure Reyes doesn't do anything stupid with the girl.
All right, so that sounds like a pressure someone roll, right? Like you're trying to get him to get in Reyes's way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, go ahead and pressure someone.
When I pressure someone to go along with you, roll with hustle. On ahead, they see your point. They have to go along with you for now, or mark stress. On a 7 to 9, you let something important slip as you bring your pressure to bear. And I have a +1 in hustle.
Okay.
And that is 9.
Great. So he says, okay, yeah. Like I'll ask to see something. I don't know. I'll deal with it. What do you let slip as you push him hard to get this done?
I think what I let slip is that I'm worried that this is a particular girl. I'm worried that this is Lupita.
Okay, cool. So you ask him specific questions about what she looks like, and it's like, why do you care so much about? Yeah, okay. I'll deal with Reyes, and he hangs up the phone.
All right.
Awesome. Good. Cool. So, Art, when you like your day to day is a lot of like collecting money and moving money around and doing stuff. Do you do that by yourself? Do you do that with other people? What does that look like?
I think I do that with other people. I think it's different people, different days. But I'm like the middle manager.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say that you and Tomas are counting the money in like one of the like sort of safe house rooms. So you have this like warehouse in the middle of the city where they like cut up the drugs and package it up and bring the money back. It's kind of like a distribution center in the middle of stuff. And you have that like the machine that counts the dollars, right? Like, and as you are sort of putting things in envelopes and wrapping them up, you see Zola come into the building with an older man that you haven't seen before.
Zola, who's this guy? Like, you just bringing in strangers now?
Do you motion her over to say that? Like, she comes in the front door, you're probably, like 10, 20 feet away from it. There's a lot of kind of hustle and bustle, people, making stuff.
I think I'm like getting up, like as soon as I see somebody I don't recognize coming in the safe house, I'm like already halfway there as I'm yelling that.
Awesome, good, cool. She looks stunned when you say that, like, and like she almost like hesitates, and you see the guy who's dressed in like a full suit smile and tilt his head at you. I'm sorry, maybe I haven't been around enough. And he holds out his hand, and you see his hand is kind of like it's worked, right? Like it's like he clearly has had in his life jobs that required him to work with his hands, right? And he says, I own all this.
And I reach out as soon as I can and just like start shaking his hand. And Zola, I'm just shitting with her. Me and Zola go way back. Like, this is all nothing. I mean, me.
Just try to give him a hard. You're just giving her a hard time. All right, great.
Zola a hard time.
So that sounds like justifying your behavior. Why don't you read that for me?
Let's see. When you try to justify your behavior to someone, roll with face. For NPCs on a hit, they broadly accept your logic and trust your answers. On a 10+, they ask you a few tough questions, answer them, and clear one stress. For PCs on a 10+, both on 7-9.
So this is for an NPC, right? This is a Marco, right? Or at least he's claiming that, right? So he's definitely an NPC.
So I got a 10.
That's a 10 because you are incredibly charming, right? Like you have a very high face, and so like he laughs and Zola laughs and everybody's laughing, right? And it's just good fun, right? And go ahead and clear one stress if you answer his tough question. So he stops really suddenly. He looks at you and he says, "Well, Arturo, right?"
Yeah.
Zola here speaks very highly of you.
As she should.
You're good at your job.
Yeah, I'm good at what I do.
Is Zola?
Yeah. Zola's one of the few people in this business I trust.
He smiles. Good. And Zola kind of motions for you to like go back to your fucking desk, like, please, right? And the two of them set off to kind of tour the rest of the distribution facility. Do you keep an eye on them? What do you do, Robert?
I think I go back to my desk like the longest way possible. I need to stop and get some water first. That just happens to be on the same route they're going.
Some coffee. Gonna get some coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you trying to listen into their conversation?
As I wouldn't say as much as possible as I would say as little as possible. I'm trying to. I don't want to seem suspicious to them, but I'm trying to overhear a little bit.
Great. So that sounds like you're pushing your luck. Like as they walk away, you're like, of course, and you go to get a cup of coffee, right? And you're pushing your luck to put yourself in a position to hear that. So why don't you read that for me?
Okay. When you push your luck, roll with grit. On a 10+, fortune favors the bold. On a 7-9, things don't work out quite like how you hoped. The MC will tell you how you can turn things around if you act quickly, make an ugly choice, or tough it out. Oh, so that's a 3.
All right, great. So you move over. You get some coffee. You hear the two of them whispering. Kind of like not whispering as much as talking softly. And you hear El Narco say, worry about it. It's a matter of time before my contacts within the Cartel Task Force discover who it is that's giving them information. I can assure you, you don't have any problems. There's no need to worry. Days, hours even. And then they walk on past. Mark a stress for me. You know who that person is, right? You know that it's at least one of them. Maybe he has more than one. Is Mercedes. But there's something about it that makes you suspicious because Mercedes doesn't have any lead on you as far as you know. You're pretty convinced he's talking about a second rat within the police department. Okay. All right, cool. So let's cut back to Yolanda and Lupe. So Lupe, you are leaving with your stuff. You've loaded everything up. You're going to go drop things off at the distribution center and get back to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing for the day.
No, we're.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, we are. We are dropping the meth.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Dropping the meth off.
Yes, yeah, we're dropping. Well, you said at the distribution center. We're bringing it home.
You've got 2 bags that are yours, but the rest of it that.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We make our run, and then as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna retrace Blanca's route and see if we can find out what the fuck happened to her.
Great, cool. That sounds good. So why don't we just go ahead and kind of bleed the scene we're in into you? So your bikes, we hear your bikes coming, because you've got your cool BMX bikes, right? That are a little louder than the have that kind of high pitched whine.
Yep.
So Art, you hear those bikes coming, and they open up the garage door, the lift door there, and you see the three bikes pull in. Do you all wear helmets, or do you just kind of
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
No, we're like a biker gang.
Right.
We're like a kid biker gang. We have probably we've got the jean jackets with the sleeves cut off.
There you go. Yeah.
And a patch on the back, and stuff like this, and like a bunch of a shit ton of tattoos and all this kind of stuff and everything, and and we wear like ball caps, right?
Cool.
That we just wear backwards on the when we're tooling around town. Maybe we've got some sunglasses or something like that, but no, we're not slick. We don't look like ninjas or anything. We're a bunch of fucking punk kids with dirt bikes.
Great, cool. So 2 things real quick. One is you should market XP for paranoia if you didn't already, because you tried to get the truth out of someone about their true loyalties, meaning why are you giving me these drugs? What is going on? What is the plan here? Right? Oh, sorry. I apologize. That was you. So Lupita did it I was looking at the wrong sheet. I apologize. So Lupita, you should market XP for ambition, which is you tried to get Yolanda to give you the drugs and go in on a deal together or something, because you were asking questions about what it meant, and then you realized you could take advantage of the situation. So still market XP because you
handle some business on their behalf. Cool.
Yeah, totally. And then you need to get the truth out of somebody, Art, to mark that XP for doing that. So you could still do that with El Narco if you want to try to pin him down to get that truth. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, great. So as Lupita and her crew pull in, they throw the backpacks to the couple of people who dump them out on the table and start counting them and labeling them and stuff. And Lupita, your phone rings, and it's not a number you recognize.
And
but it's the Blanca phone.
Got it. Okay. And I do one of these hold up a finger I gotta take this. I know better than to interrupt them when they're counting stuff.
Yeah.
So I step outside the door, maybe like kind of like just like whatever, like 20 feet into the parking lot. But I stay where they can see me while I'm taking the call, right? Like I'm not like I'm not going, this is like, if flip it open, hello.
Lupe, it's Blanca.
What where the fuck are you?
I'm at, I don't know, like there's a bunch of cops here, and
what the fuck did you do, Blanca?
look, remember how I told you, like, they gave us the money and it's like ours to do what we want to do with it? Like, well, that was, I had an opportunity, and then she gets kind of quiet, like she's hoping nobody overhears her.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I almost got my hands on like 30 boxes at one time. So, like, I figured 30 boxes, we keep the money. Like,
so if I remember when you told me that, you should remember when I told you how fucking stupid that would be to do. Do you remember that part?
So it sounds like you're verbally shaming her for herself in this terrible situation.
I absolutely am. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll it. So actually reading, it's first time. So.
All right. So let me just hang on here.
Page 10.
This is verbally abuse or shame. When you verbally abuse or shame someone you care about, roll with face. On a hit, your words hit hard. Tell them to mark stress. On 10 plus, clear your stress track. On 7-9, clear 1 stress. Miss, your cowardice is cleared. Take -1 ongoing to face until you make amends. Yeah, and like, so this is just like you didn't fucking listen, and exactly what I told you would happen, and this is why you fucking listened to me. Just like a dress down. And not how can I help you get out of jail. I'm rolling with face on this, and I think face is just even for me.
It's a 1.
It's 1. All right. Okay.
Yep.
6 plus 1 gets me to 7.
Yeah. You can hear her just like her bravado kind of fades, and like she's like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Like, look, they said that if I tell them things, like maybe they're gonna let me go or something. So like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know anybody. Like, I just okay. Tell me what to do.
Fucking start crying. Act like a little girl. Act like a little fucking girl. Bawl your eyes out. Start sobbing. Make one of those big bastards feel sorry for you. Do you understand?
Okay.
Fucking just like I have seen you do this to your uncle. Just pretend they're your fucking uncle and that he caught you coming home late.
Okay, but they said somebody you work with told them where I would be.
Look, we'll fucking deal with that later. Right now, you need to fucking you need to get out of there. You need to convince them that you don't fucking know anything and that this is all a terrible mistake. Like, just fucking start sobbing and don't stop.
So great. So let's pressure her and see if she'll go along with that plan.
Okay. So is this pressuring her, or is this my crew thing? I think
that's your whole crew, right? So like that kind of keeps us from having to make 3 different rolls when you tell your crew what to do.
So I'm going to pressure her to go along with me. All right. So that's hustle, which is a +2. Roll that. 8 and 2 is 10, brother. There we
10.
go.
Perfect. Good. Yeah. So she's like, okay. And then you hear them being like, time's up. And they like take the phone away from her. Right. And she's like she hangs up, but you think she's going to probably do what you said for the most part. Cool. So Art, you're sort of standing there with your coffee, like you see Lupe go outside. You hear her kind of intensely talking, but it's not entirely clear what you hear. And when
you know what? Like I am not quiet about this. I'm like screaming into the phone. Yeah.
You hear her like, you fucking do what I tell you to do, et cetera, et cetera. So Art, what do you do?
I guess I'm taking a little bit aback because, I mean, we have a lot of people here counting money. They don't like to be disturbed. You don't want somebody to count 79 when it's really 78.
Yeah.
So I just come up to Lupe, like, can you keep it a little bit quiet? Like, I'm sorry, do you have an emergency?
Do you really want to know the answer to that question? Like, are you actually trying to get the truth out of her, or are you just kind of like trying to get her to go that way and have the conversation over there?
No, I think I'm just trying to get her to go that way.
Cool.
Like as I say that, I'm just like, I'm sorry, do you have an emergency? As I like, point at all the people counting like various stacks of bills.
And I like look at him and I say, do I fucking tell you how to do math? No, get out of my shit.
Whoa. I mean, is your shit going to be a problem for me?
That sounds like a real question, right? That sounds like you actually want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and make a get the truth roll for that.
So that's an 8 plus. What would we add for get the truth?
Hustle.
So your hustle's -1, right?
Yeah, so 7.
So that's a 7. Okay, so anytime that somebody's near, like they get it like exactly a 10 or they're at a 7, you can interfere. And the way that interfering works is that you wager stress. So you basically bet how much, like you can bet more and maybe you're more likely to win, or you can bet very little and try to squeak over the edge but not pay much of a cost if it doesn't work. So Lupe, would you like to interfere with this?
So let me just help her interfere. When you help her interfere with the PC that is rolled, wager stress and roll. On a hit, give them +1 or -1 to their roll, your choice. On 7 to 9, you mark however much stress you wagered on the roll. On a miss, mark the stress you wagered and prepare for the worst. I'm going to wager 2 stress.
Great. Yeah, so roll it. It's +2.
Because I just knocked one off for yelling at her. So, I'm rolling at +2 here. Oh, wait. Boom. 7 + 2 gets me a 9.
Great. So you do pay the cost of the stress. You mark 2 stress, but you do bring his roll below a 7. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a free justify, Lupe. You justify as if you hit a 10+. Whatever you say, he is in the position where he is heavily incentivized to accept it.
Got it. Okay. Let me just take a look at justify here. Justify your behavior.
So for a PC on a 10+, he's going to mark XP if he accepts your reasoning, and if he doesn't, he has to mark a stress.
Okay. All right. So like I do that like clench my fist, close my eyes, and take a deep breath because I'm like, okay, calming myself down. And I say to him, I say, look, one of my crew is in trouble, and I'm gonna go help them out. And if you want to help, you can get us out of here now. You El Narco knows where we live. If we fucked you on this, you're gonna kill my mom. So look, just fucking let us go and we'll deal with this right now.
Great. So do you accept that and say like, cool, I understand you're handling your business, or do you resist it and mark a stress?
Yeah, I'm gonna accept. You can go. You can go and do what you need to do. I think we have plenty of people here to take your spot. I mean, if anybody asks, I can cover for you. I mean, you've always been good to me.
Great. Yeah. Mark the XP. You're good. And what do you tell your crew? Just kind of yell at them like, "These kids are done. Get them out of here." What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I hardly say anything. Just kind of escort them out and let it be done.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So as El Narco and Zola kind of tour the back of the facility where they're loading stuff up into these boxes that are going to be shipped across a border, like they're TVs, but the drugs are like taped to the TVs, right? Like that. All that's happening. You sort of usher these kids out the door.
And I like kind of nod and I say, "Gracias, senor," whatever your last name is. Or do we even know your last name?
No,
We
I don't
probably
even think
know your last name. I say,
we don't know each other that well.
I say thank you, thank you, Arturo, and I kind of like raise an eyebrow at my crew because they're gonna say thank you to him too.
Yeah, they thank you.
Yeah. All right.
That's great. Cool. So let's cut there. Yeah, we'll come back to that. So Yolanda, you're sitting in your lab, the queen of too much. What do you finished your cook, right? Which took you most of the day. Probably got stuff started last night. Came back in the morning. You kind of finished up with things. Do you and Arturo have plans to meet up? Like, what is it? What does the rest of your day look like when you've kind of successfully gotten through your drug business?
I was actually gonna meet up with Mercedes.
Okay.
Like I was gonna do a little bit for the paper company and like bring that into town and then meet up with her and get a drink.
Yeah, that sounds good. So why don't we cut over to Mercedes and have her deal with this situation at the police station, and then the two of you can meet for a drink. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. So Mercedes, you storm into the police station. Where are you guys based as the anti-cartel task force? Do you have like an office downtown? Do they put you somewhere special? Like where is the anti-cartel task force based out of?
I think it's somewhere near the perimeter of Durango.
Okay, like it's kind of on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So yeah, you get there and they have you in this little building, this little government building that like has been kind of abandoned, so it's not well cared for, right? And yeah, when you come in, you see that there's a couple of conference rooms they've sort of converted to interrogation units, and you can see Blanca sitting in one of them. She's handcuffed and she's crying and just sobbing, and like Reyes is like yelling at Moreno, right? Like I didn't fucking do anything. She just started crying, and like now she won't fucking talk. Like, and Moreno's like, hey, we can't have any, like, they're kind of yelling at each other back and forth.
What the fuck is going on here?
They both turn to look at you. Are you gonna get the truth out of Reyes, or you?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
That is plus hustle, right?
Yep.
That is 6 plus 3. That's a 9.
Okay, great. Go ahead and choose your option off the list.
I'm gonna say no stonewalling.
Right. He sighs. I was just telling your partner here that our informant secured us an asset that I would like to interrogate. But unfortunately, the asset, and he gestures to the room, is sobbing. So I'm trying to get her to calm down so that we can actually get our jobs done. Now, unless you have something to say about this, I'm going to go ahead and go back in there and do my job.
I'm gonna do it. Clearly, you're not helping by being here.
What do you mean I'm not helping by being here? I'm the one who brought her in.
And I gesture at the girl and how she's sobbing.
Awesome, great. Yeah, why don't you pressure him? See if he'll back off, right? Now remember, he's suspicious of you. So
yeah. And pressure is with hustle again. That is an 8.
What do you let slip as you bring this pressure to bear?
So I think I let slip that this is not because I actually care about the girl.
Okay.
but there's something else going on.
Okay. What do you say that makes him feel that way?
So it's like, I think it just feels fake that like it's too, like I tried too hard to make it seem like he's a bad cop.
Yeah. Right. Like, look at
And
you,
that
you're
I'm
yelling
good
at
cop.
her.
Yeah, like I tried too hard to be good cop, bad cop, and shit.
Yeah. Ray's like, okay, fine. Go ahead. He moves on the way. And you can see that part of this is maybe like a trap. Like he's like, yeah, go ahead, go in there and talk to her. And everything is on, like, I've already set it up so it's recording. You say whatever you want. Right? And,
Right.
he steps out of the way of you for you to step inside.
All right. Okay, so I go to Blanca, and she's still sobbing.
She looks up at you like you can tell like she's kind of faking a little bit. Like she's like, and like she kind of looks up, like when she sees that you're a cop.
Okay, please, can you go back in? I say as gently as possible.
Like,
or I go. Oh, sorry, I go in with her. Sorry. Oh, to where she is. Okay.
Yeah. Like when you come in, she kind of looks at you, and you can tell she's kind of fake sobbing, but maybe it's a little real. She's definitely freaked out.
All right. So, so what's going on? Can you explain what happened? What did? Why were you apprehended?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. This guy just grabbed me and brought me here. Like, I don't even know where we are. This isn't a police station. What's happening?
Do you know? So you don't know where you are?
No. Should I know? And she's like looking around, and like, to be fair to her, like this looks like a converted office. Like she doesn't know what's going on here.
Okay. So what I want to do in a meta level is get the truth out of her, but not let Reyes know.
Yeah, cool. I mean, there's lots of ways to get the truth, right? So one is to like, tell people like, hey, you can trust me. Why don't you tell me what's going on? Like, getting the truth doesn't always have to be like yelling until somebody tells you what's going on. So do you want to show her some kindness is the idea?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. What does that look like? I
think I tried to calm her down and say, hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing bad is going to happen to you if you just do what we tell you to do.
That's great. Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
That's again with hustle. So many hustle rolls. Wow.
Yeah, well, you're trying to get people to give you what they want, right?
That's a 9 again.
What? It's just so many good rolls. Okay, yeah. So 9 is you get to pick one off the list.
Cannot confuse me with falsehoods.
Cool, and don't forget you clear 1 stress as well, because the reason is you always have like when you get the truth out of someone, something in the world makes sense. Like there's somebody that is telling you something real.
So I'm technically at 0 stress right now because I did that with Reyes.
Yeah, that's great. So they can't you chose they can't confuse you with falsehoods, right?
Correct.
Okay. She calms down. I don't know anything. I just, I was helping a friend, and I don't really know, I don't know anything. So you should just let me go. Like I don't know anything. Like I don't know. They told me that there's someone who said that I was helping to get stuff for narcos or something. I don't know anything about that. I was just picking up some medication from my friend who asked me to get it for her.
Do you know the names of any of those friends? Or sorry, can you tell me the names of any of those friends?
What? No, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know who you people are. I'm not telling you who my friends are that I offered to help. Like, this is just crazy, right? And you can tell she's at this point. She's like, "There's just much I'm going to say. Like, I don't know anything else."
I think this is when I get harsh and and I'm like, you have to let us know who asked for this medication. Who are your friends?
You can see she basically is like, she crosses her arms, and you can tell Blanca is very determined. Like, she just like, she's not going to say anything.
All right. So I think here's when I'm gonna bug her.
That's great.
Like, giving her a pat on the back and saying, "Oh, okay, if that's fine. You can. If it's okay, you don't have to tell us about."
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So you get her stuff, is what you mean? Like, you get her stuff.
Yeah.
You put a bug into her purse or whatever she has with her bag, right? And like, while you're doing this, Reyes, like, because you have to leave the room to get her stuff, right? From it. Reyes, like, what the fuck are you doing? What is the plan? Like, she didn't tell us shit.
And then I go, I ignore Regis for now.
Okay, cool. So you don't tell him about your plan?
Right now, no.
Okay, good.
Good,
yeah.
Because I'm not gonna tell him my plan like when she's still there.
That's great. Yeah, cool. So do you let her go? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. Let her go with her stuff and my bug.
That's great. That's great. I love it. Okay, great. So yeah, you come in, you undo the handcuffs. She's like, "Oh, thank you. Like, this is so reasonable. Thank you. Someone is finally being reasonable." And you give her stuff, and she very happily like trots out with her stuff.
All right.
Reyes is like, "The fuck," right? And like, you see him go to like the lieutenant, right? Like, he's gonna go like talk to your boss or your boss's boss, but he doesn't bother to confront you.
If it's not gonna bother talking to me, then like, I'm just gonna say, yeah, we'll find out eventually. Trust me. Like, giving him a wink nod.
Yeah.
She's being tracked somehow.
That's great. That's perfect. Good. I love it. Yeah. So, Yolanda, you and Mercedes made a plan earlier to meet at a bar or something. Is that what you were kind of proposing as a scene?
Yeah, that was our bond.
Yeah, that sounds great. So why don't you get a text, Mercedes, or something where like we get you and Yolanda together, because we haven't seen her for a minute. So why don't we get you like, "Oh, I gotta go. I got this text," right, or whatever. Is that cool with you?
Yeah. So I think I'm at the station and I tell Regis, it's fine. We'll find out eventually. I gotta go though. I have stuff to do.
That sounds great. Cool. Yeah. So the two of you head off to a bar. What kind of bar would you meet her at, Yolanda? Is it like a nicer bar, or is it like, because the two of you live relatively stable lifestyles, you can go to a decent place in the plaza, or is it like kind of a seedy bar where the two of you get away from everything?
I think it's a decent place. Yeah, we just go here pretty regularly, so it's like a tapas bar or something, you know.
That's great. Yeah, cool. So you're like maybe on like the second floor overlooking the plaza at this like decent place. And do you usually wear a uniform, Mercedes? Do you actually change out of your uniform?
I think I just wear like a lab coat over normal clothes. I took that off when I delivered my supplies.
Cool. Yeah, like you're dressed in normal clothes now. Yeah. Mercedes, how about you? Do you wear a uniform, or what do you usually dress in?
I think I just went straight there. I didn't change back to normal clothes.
All right, cool. So, Yolanda, you probably got there first. So, are you already drinking? Like, do you already order food? Do you wait for your friend? What do we see when she enters the scene?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to get rid of some of the stress from the hectic day I had.
I see. Okay, cool. So, you'd like to lose yourself in a substance?
Sure.
All right, so that's not like one beer, right? That's like you've had a couple martinis already while we're starting, right? So, what is your drink? What is your drug of choice? Assuming it's alcohol, but like, what is your drug of choice?
Yeah, alcohol.
Okay, and what kind of alcohol do you drink? Are you a beer drinker? Do you drink margaritas? Is it a vodka situation? Like, what does it look like when Yolanda gets maybe a little wasted?
Maybe I got like a really big margarita, like we were gonna share it, and then I just
Great. So you got this giant cup in front of you that you've already drank by the time she arrives. I love it. It's perfect. So why don't you read "Lose Yourself in a Substance" for me?
All right. When you lose yourself in a substance, roll with grit. On a hit, clear your stress track. On a 7 and 9, the drugs take a toll. Yeah.
Now, notice that when Lupe hit her 7 and 9, she didn't clear her whole stress track. Drugs are a really effective way to clear your stress track, and they have no negative consequences ever. And I encourage all my players to lose themselves in the substance as often as possible. So let's have you roll and see what happens.
The drugs, kids.
Mercedes did too, right? Because she doesn't have stress, so I was trying to match her.
Well, no, Mercedes cleared stress by talking to people and getting them to talk to her about dreadful things.
Okay, that sounds like a better way to do it. I got
So
a 5.
You got a 5. Okay, great. So what that means is when on a miss, I get to say what happens, and you're in pretty deep. So I'm going to say that. So you're going to be drunk for this scene, but as you are drinking, and you just kind of you're still drinking, and you're drinking, you drink this whole margarita kind of before you like realize that you've drank the whole thing. I think if this is cool with you, you're going to let something slip to the wrong person, in the sense that you need to tell someone that you are in over your head here. And I'll let you choose whichever character you think is a good person to tell. But you need to tell someone, either like in person, over text message, whatever, that you don't think you can do this, right? Because that's kind of the theme we've hit on, is that you are in way over your head. So what do we see that you, what does it look like when you do that?
I think I might be just calling Mercedes, like, invite her to like tell her that my like daughter has like her first quinceañera she went to,
Yeah.
And just work is just terrible.
All right, so you're going to spill a little bit to Mercedes. So that's great. So we'll see. Mercedes, you show up, and as we've already established, there's a giant empty margarita glass and maybe a second margarita that's been dropped off for Yolanda, and Yolanda is drunk. And before you can even say anything, Yolanda starts to let some things slip. So Yolanda, yeah, what do we hear?
Just like it's been a terrible day. I think, especially because Mercedes doesn't have any stress, right? Like, she looks really good, and like I just lost all my help, and I have to do everything myself. It's not going well. Maybe I should become a policia like you.
What happened? What did Polifolio do?
What did who do?
Polifolio, wasn't that the company you work for? Yeah.
Like, did you remember? Yes, that is the company I work for.
They got rid of all the other people helping me, and so I just have to do everything myself. I'm way over my head now.
I mean, you're just making paper there, right? What's so hard on making paper?
It has to be the perfect chemicals, and there are all sorts of types of paper. And should I, like, out of character, should I do like avoid suspicion? That's
Well, you're not. You're at this point. You're justifying yourself, right? You're saying,
Okay.
You're saying like, "Oh, I'm so drunk because I'm so in over my head at work, and let me justify to you that I have this terrible, totally normal job." But you've let slip that, yeah, like it's a little weird that you're losing your shit over paper, right?
Right.
So go ahead and justify yourself.
All right. Oh, I was reading the note. Sorry. Where's the move?
It's on page 9.
It's your face.
Yeah, it's with face.
Okay. And I have 0 face, so that's good. So I got a 10.
Oh, you got a 10.
Nice.
Great, yeah. So you're saying like, "Oh, my job is just so hard." If she accepts this, she marks XP. If she doesn't, she has to mark stress.
I mean, I don't know anything about papers. I only have 3 XP.
Awesome, good. So as you as like, do you show some sympathy for this, Mercedes? Like, how do we know that you're accepting it?
I think it's more like I let her drink more than she should, and I'm like, fine, just get yourself. Like, I don't pressure her at all about the paper or whatever.
You just accept that that's how it's going to be. Awesome, good, cool. All right, let's cut from that for a minute. So Art, back at the distribution center, you know El Narco's kind of taking a tour of things. Zola has kind of like, you know, made sure that he's seen the whole facility, and he comes back. The two of them come back to your desk as you're finalizing the count of money and things. Zola kind of looks back and forth and says, like, we'd like to talk about the handoff that's happening next week.
Yeah, of course.
The man who has not given you a name, as far as you know, says, it would be unusual to see 2 cartels making such a exchange simultaneously, but with 4, I have concerns about the quality of the service we provide.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I always have concerns.
Of course, you have the
My
money.
job.
You must be very concerned with all the money laying around here. And he pats like the like 3 or 4 stacks of $100 bills.
Yeah.
May I be honest with you, Arturo?
Well, you don't have to ask me. I always encourage people to be honest with me.
My contacts have told me that someone in our organization, Zarata, this person, someone higher up in the organization, someone who would know many things. From what they have told the police, there are only a few people, I suspect. What do you think I should do about this, Rata? Arturo?
Well, I would say you rat them out. Set them up. It's easy to lay a trap. Rats climb into traps willingly.
He kind of nods and turns to Zola. You're right. He's very smart. All right.
You put a piece of cheese, the rat comes. That's how it works.
Very smart. Well, I will think on what you have said. I will think about what kind of cheese I can find. But I will tell you, I have my suspicions about one person, and you know this person, I think, better than me.
Who's that?
The new cook.
She does very good work. I mean, yeah, she's suspicious. She's new, right? Everybody new is suspicious. But she does very good work. our product is cleaner than ever.
Do you think that she is trustworthy?
I think she's profitable.
Great. Why don't you justify your behavior, right? Because you're saying like we shouldn't worry so much about that. Like she's so good at what she does. Like this is my defense. Okay. 10 plus.
10, yeah.
Your relationship with her is purely professional.
Of course. I mean, you know, I don't want to cause any trouble.
Well, if she is someone we should continue working with, then I will look elsewhere for my rat.
I think she's worth working with. I think she might need some protection, you know, from herself. She's new. She's been to America. She's been back. You know, it's best to assign somebody to her.
What are you proposing?
Just, you know, somebody to keep a close eye on her. I don't want anybody else to infect her with other ideas.
And who should this person be?
I mean, I count money. I could count drugs. I could do it, unless you have somebody else that you know of. I mean, Zola could do it, but you know, her talents are better used elsewhere.
So it sounds to me like you're proposing a deal here, right? Like, hey, if you're worried about her, I'll keep an eye on her for you because I'm such a trustworthy guy, and you know, you pass this off to me, and I'll take care of it. What do you want in exchange? Because to make it a deal, like you have to get something out of it.
So I would keep an eye on her, but obviously I want a little bit more pay. You know, I want to move up a little bit in the organization. Like I've been reporting to Zola for a while, right?
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So you would get out from Zola's thumb and instead start supervising the lab as your goal.
Because I'm like, I know what to do in this cartel. I could move this cartel forward into the future, but Zola just keeps keeping me behind.
That's great. Yeah. Go ahead and roll it. That sounds good.
10?
10 plus. Hit it again. Yeah. So for propose a deal, find the page again. On a 10 plus, they have to take the deal as it stands or mark stress. He says, all right, I'll make arrangements with Zola. He like looks at she's off like doing something a little ways away, and he says, tomorrow, go to the lab, keep an eye on her, and if she is up to something, then you tell me.
Sounds good. Boss, or should I call you something else?
You can call me Oso. And he holds out his hand again.
Yeah, so I shake his hand. That sounds like a plan, Oso.
Okay. And he picks up his hat off the desk, puts it on, and there's like this little like sort of white straw fedora, and sort of charmingly, roguishly walks out of the building by himself. Okay. Cool. So Yolanda, let's cut over to Lupe. So Lupe, you were going to go look for Blanca. Like, where were you headed from the distribution facility?
We know her route.
Yep.
So we're like going back over her route, and Yeah, and trying to, I guess you know what, I mean, she called and told us, like, oh, like, actually, we don't have to go back over her route, because she told us where she got, we know she got pinched.
Yep.
We're trying to find, like, basically, we're going to go, I guess, to the police station to see.
Yeah.
We're basically just kind of hitting the street to see if we can find her.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so you're kind of like zooming around, like looking for her bike, looking for other things, asking if people know kind of where she went, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And in general, you don't have a lot of luck. Like, people, she got taken, and people, you figure out where it was, like which pharmacy it was. People say, oh, she tried to take a bunch of stuff out of the back while they were loading things, and the cops were like on her so fast it was weird. They put her in SUV. They took her. Nobody really saw this. It's not entirely clear, and that leaves you without a lot of options until your phone rings and it's Blanca calling from her phone.
What's going on?
I'm out. It worked. I started crying. They sent this woman in to talk to me, and she just let me go.
All right. Okay.
It totally worked. I'm so sorry. I promise I'm never going to do anything like that again. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do. Like, I never again. She says this every time, like she does something stupid. She's like, never again. But
so stop talking. Did you have that phone with you the whole time? No.
Should I talk now?
Well, okay. Get your bike, meet us back at home, and as soon as you hang up, throw the phone away. You got it? You can say yes.
Yes.
All right. Now go do that.
Got it.
I hang up.
And she hangs up. You hang up, and she's gonna go do that, right?
And we have the scene where, like, I just toss the phone into the phone I was using. I just toss it into the middle of the street, and I like do that thing where, like, I hold the front brake and back wheel around, and then I just gun it and I just run the phone right over.
Cool. And Lola and them throw their phones too, right?
Yes.
Done. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good. Cool. All right. So Yolanda, you're good and drunk. You've vented at Mercedes within the guise of this. I work for a paper company, and it's very stressful. You don't know my life, kind of framework. What is your plan? Is Mercedes going to get you home, despite the fact that you're very drunk?
Probably. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mercedes, how do you feel about that plan? Yolanda's not, making good decisions necessarily at the moment. She's.
I am a cop. I am supposed to take people home when they're drunk, right?
Sure.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, Yolanda, are you the kind of person that Mercedes would have to stop you from drinking and driving, or would you be like, oh no, please take me home?
I think I would get a cab if she didn't take me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, you stand up from the table, realize you're wobbly, kind of know you're in trouble. And as the two of you move towards the door, either to get a cab or have you take you home, you see your husband step into the bar.
I think I'll like blink or something, like make sure I'm seeing it right.
Oh, like you try to clear your eyes, like am I seeing right? Yeah, and he's tall, handsome. He's got on like a button-down shirt that's like pink, and he's like looking around the bar as if to look for you. Maybe it's not entirely clear.
I'll go over to him. Like, what are you doing here?
And he sees you, and you're drunk, and he's immediately is like, I've been looking for you.
Well, this is my normal spot, so here I am.
Like, and he kind of like grabs you by the arm and pulls you in, and he's like, you know, when was the last time you and Arturo saw each other? Right? When was the last? And like what was that like? Did Arturo come over to your house? Like, what do your trysts look like when you meet up?
Maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
We met up, and maybe it was for the quinceañera that we brought our daughter to, right?
No, sorry, Arturo, your lover. Like, when was the last time you met up with him?
I think it's probably more often. Right?
All right, so Arturo, when you Yolanda meet up, do you go over to her place? Does she come to your place?
I don't think we do either. I think we find some other place.
Yeah.
And being in the cartel, we have lots of safe houses with lots of offices.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's really illicit, right? You're like off in places you don't really know, etc. Right. So yeah, he says your husband. We'll say your husband's name. Let's see. How about let's say Gabriel, right? And he says like, your cousin Hector. He called me. He says he saw you with a man outside an office building downtown. And I come up here, I call you, you don't pick up. And here you are in this bar. And who's this? And like gestures at Mercedes.
Calm down. I've had quite a day already. We'll talk through this. Just not in public, all right?
Go ahead and justify yourself. You're like, I'm not having this conversation in public. It's totally a like justifying your behavior.
Okay. Oh, I just rolled that. Should I use the dice roll? Or?
Yeah, that's right. What did you roll?
6.
6. So with your face of 0, that is a cold stone miss, right?
Yep.
He says, oh no, we're having this conversation right now. Who is he? Tell me where he is. I'm gonna fucking kill him. Tell me where he is right now. You're attracting a crowd, right? Like people are turning and looking at like everybody's watching.
Yeah, I think I'll turn to Mercedes because she's like a cop, right? Like protects me.
Okay. I'm trying to get out of this situation because I'm not that kind of cop either.
So are you trying to slip away, like get away from the two of them fighting? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that seems like a push your luck to me. Like you would like her to turn to you and you not be there, right?
Oh, who's pushing their luck?
You are.
Oh, I am. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because you want to slip away and get away from this before it gets any further out of control.
That's a 10.
Oh yeah, so you just sort of like as he starts yelling and the crowd starts to gather, you just quietly sort of slip away from it, right? So Yolanda, when you turn to Mercedes, she's gone. She's not here.
All right, so I'll just go back to face my husband, and I'll just say like, oh, it's not what you think. It was a professional relationship. Okay.
So you're trying to talk him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What do you want him to do? Like you've already tried to kind of justify yourself. Like say you don't want to talk about this, whatever. Where do you hope that this goes? Like I don't want us to have to make 10 rolls to have this conversation, right? Like what are you hoping to get out of this at the moment?
I wish there was like a turn to violence, you know?
All right, so you want him to calm down, and you want him to like cool. Yeah, that sounds great. So it sounds like you're trying to pressure him then, right? You want him to calm down. He does, like, allegedly he cares about you. This is getting out of control. So it's totally like avoiding turning the violence. You want to pressure him to calm down and have a reasonable conversation with you, preferably at home.
Yeah, maybe like size him up, like figure out how to deal with
Totally. You could totally do that. There are two so if you don't want to pressure him because you're not great at hustling, then yeah, like you can totally size him up and see what it would take to push him to do this. And if I tell you, oh yeah, this is what it takes, and you do it, then it's going to happen, right? Like those answers are good.
All right, I'll try that then because we haven't done size someone up. So
So what's your savagery?
I think it's 0. Yeah, 0, and I got a 10.
Ah, great. Okay, cool. So go ahead and read for me what happens on a 10 plus to size someone up.
Ask 3. What are your strengths or weaknesses? How can I show dominance or submission? What do you intend to do next? What do you wish I'd do right now? And how could I get you to blink? So I guess how could I get you to take this somewhere more private?
Yeah, so I think that if you promise to tell him something, like if you promise to tell him the truth, he would probably take it somewhere more private.
And then what do you wish I'd do right now?
I mean, I think that he is not acting super rationally, right? Like he drove here without telling you. When you look at your phone, you realize that you actually did miss like 5 or 6 calls from him, but you were, drunk and talking to Mercedes, right? So like he's not really 100% in control of where he is, and he's lashing out and acting out. So what he wants is for you to make him feel better, but
then maybe how can I show my dominance?
I mean, this one's easy. Like you can embarrass him, right? Yeah. I mean, if you were to make a scene here about how he's not enough of a man, or like he's right, then you would definitely cow him if you made this a bigger scene than it already is. Like, does that make sense? Like played into it rather than calmed it down.
That's true, but yeah. So I think I'll just say like you're not in your right mind now, so I'll tell you all about it. Just not here.
Okay, great. Yeah. So where you'd say like, let's go to my apartment. Like, where do you tell him you want to go?
Yeah, sure. My apartment.
Okay, I'm gonna have you mark a stress. Like this is like very stressful. What are you up to? 4?
Yeah.
You didn't clear any from the drugs because you missed, right? On that.
I didn't clear one with Mercedes, right? Because you with justify your behavior.
Yep.
I got to clear 1, so I'm
cool.
Back up to 3.
Great, cool, yeah.
Also, Arturo justified his behavior at some point earlier today, so he did clear a stress.
Yep. So he nods and the two of you leave, right? Cool. Great. So it sounds like people are kind of wrapping up this cycle, right, of like stuff they were immediately doing. So as we start to think about the next thing we do, let's kind of check in with folks. So Lupe, what's your plan with your crew? We don't necessarily need to frame a scene, but like what's the plan that you're going to do with your crew when you get them all together?
I am going to talk to the other 2. And we are going to get rid of Blanca.
Oof, tough. Okay, cool, because you think she flipped.
If she didn't, if she didn't, they're onto her. They this might also, this might be a test. I don't know. But, this is, I was super clear about what would happen if she did that. And she did it anyway. And exactly what I said would happen happened.
Yep.
And we can't, that can't happen again.
Great.
With what we got coming up.
Perfect. Cool. Art, how about you? What do you, you're off work. Are you going to go talk to Yolanda? Like, what is it that you're going to pursue next as a scene?
Yeah, I think if I'm off work, then I want to go to Yolanda and like kind of give her the scoop that, you know, by the way, I'll be stopping by your place tomorrow at work.
Yeah.
So if you see me, don't be surprised.
Great, I love it. Okay, cool. And Mercedes, how about you? What are you doing now that you've kind of
Tracking Blanca, and if it turns up at a suspicious place, I'm gonna mark stress to show up alongside the police.
That sounds perfect. Okay, good. So it sounds to me like we have two really messy scenes coming here. So let's start with Art and Yolanda. So Yolanda, like we follow you. You go down to your husband's car. He's sober, maybe not in his right mind or whatever, right? And you drive to. You have an apartment, I would assume, in the city for yourself, Yolanda.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. And Art, are you going to go to the apartment to talk to her?
Yeah, I think that would be out of character for Art, but at this point, like, he doesn't have much time. Like, he needs to let her know because he doesn't want to make a scene.
Right.
At the drug lab.
Yeah. Right. That's great. So I think you, Yolanda, you and your husband pull up in his car in front of your apartment, and there's Art, I think, probably sitting on the steps, right? As you get out of the car, your husband is like, you know, fuming, like he's super upset. He hasn't yet noticed that Art is here. And Art, you see Yolanda get out of the car with this guy. Do you know that she's married? Has she told you that she's married?
No.
Perfect. Love it. Great. So you get out of the car, Yolanda, with your husband, and he's talking at you like, and you know, I'm working and like taking care of these kids and blah, 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 blah. And you see Art sitting on the steps. What do you do?
I think I'm just going to try to move inside.
You're just going to try
We're still in public, so either like stay in the car or go into the apartment.
So are you going to try to walk past Art and pretend you don't know him? Is that the plan?
That's a good question. I think I'll just give him a look, like, don't talk to me, you know?
All right, so you're trying to give him a look that says "Don't talk to me," like a signal when your husband can't see that says like, "Hey, don't, like, this is serious."
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, that seems fair. Like, seems like pushing your luck. You're trying to send a signal without getting caught. So why don't you roll with grit here?
All right. I got a 7. I have 1 grit, so 8.
8. Okay, great. So go ahead and read for me grit. When you on a 7 to 9, I'll read it. Things don't work out like you hoped. The embassy will tell you how you can turn things around if you act quickly, make an ugly choice, or tough it out. So you sort of make a hand motion or give him a look, and you see that your husband sees that. So you know that he saw you kind of connect with Art in some way. But if you can find some way to play off that this guy is here, he doesn't necessarily suspect that this is your lover, right? Is my point. Like he just knows that you saw, like you saw this guy here at the steps. So you have some time to do something to try to give him some other story.
So he heard about it from like a third party.
Yeah, he doesn't know who this guy is that you connected with, right? So he just knows there is another guy, not that it's this guy. And you realize really quickly, oh, he doesn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have to tell a story, I guess. So I guess the work then. So like push him inside, and then try to talk real quick before.
Well, you can just do it here on the street. Like, it makes sense. Like, Art's here. You can say, "Oh, it's my friend," or whatever story you want to tell about who this guy is.
Yeah. So, it's Art from what is it? The Propellers.
Oh, from the the company you say you work for, Polifolio.
Mhm. Polyfolio.
So you're going to go with, it's my friend from work who happens to be sitting here on my stoop and is certainly not here as my lover to meet me and give me, like have a romantic encounter.
Of course. Yeah, that would be so.
Okay, great. So I think this is this sounds to me like a pushing your luck again. It's not just a lie. It's like a big lie, like a really robust, hey, I'm going to try to really push my luck here situation.
Does that hit my key too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and roll.
I got a 6. +1 is 7.
+1 is 7. Great, cool. So like you say this, right? And as you can sense his skepticism, Art, how do you react to your Yolanda saying, "Oh, look, it's my friend Art from work," as this guy that's sitting next to her who seems to be almost quivering with rage and like, seems very intense, steps out of the car with her.
I don't think Art likes to push for a fight when he doesn't have to. So
Yeah.
at first he's just kind of watching and yeah, we make paper together. That's what we do.
All right, I'll say that, like, if Art plays along here, maybe you can get your husband on the right page. Art, why don't you justify yourself and see if you can convince this guy that you're just her work friend.
So that's a 9. Yeah. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
12. Good. Cool. Yeah. So he kind of like instantly relaxes and is like, sorry, my wife and I are in the middle of a fight right now. I wasn't expecting to deal with anybody from her job. I apologize. What was your name again?
My name's Arturo.
Arturo, it's nice to meet you. I'm Gabriel.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to bother you so late. It's a 24/7 job making paper.
Is it?
Well, it can be. I'm always on call.
What are you on call for?
Well, in case something goes bad. Making paper.
You can tell he's pretty suspicious. I don't think you're going to get your your clear one stress for this, right? Like the tough questions he's asking, you're not really giving him substantial answers, right? There's something sort of fundamentally suspicious about you being out here on the stoop in the middle of the night. He's going to let it go, but like you definitely feel the pressure. Let's come back to Lupe. So Lupe, you told Blanca to meet you at home. Is that right? Yeah, cool. So as you three pull up, you would see her. She's waiting for you. But did you talk to the two of them beforehand about this plan?
Oh yeah, I sure did.
Great, cool. So let's go ahead and make your roll for
let's do that.
Hermanos roll, right? And the fact that it's 2 members of your Pendia is enough.
So I got a 6 plus my. I'm rolling with plus hustle on that, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's 8.
That is an 8, 7 and 9.
They're only going to go along with one of them. They really don't like this plan, right? When you lay it out, they're like, "Oh man, I can't." This is Blanca, like, So what is it that they're going to do?
They are going to follow my instructions to the letter.
Great. So Zana's like, "I can't fucking do this. Like, I can't fucking do it." So like, they're not all going to go along with it. Like Zana's like, "You do what you need to do." But like when you lay this out, she walks. She's like, "I can't do it. You do what you need to do, but I can't do it." Lola just nods at you like, "Got it." And like she does demand an answer. She says, "I get caught by the cops, you're gonna kill me too?"
And I kind of I shake my head and I say, "You're not going to fucking get caught by the cops because you're not stupid. She's fucking stupid. We're not fucking around here anymore. she's going to get all of us killed.
Lola nods, and two of you get on your bikes and head over to your house. As you pull up,
if I can, I'm gonna mark 3 stress instead of just 1 to show up before the cops. If that's how that move works.
Totally. What's going to happen here is that if they attract the police, you can mark yours first. Like you set it up perfectly. Like if they kill her and as they leave, it attracts a lot of attention. Like then you'll be the first on the scene. In fact, considering you've bugged her purse,
that's
here. Yeah. You won't even need to use that power to be like you are already watching her. That's for when somebody like attracts the attention of the police and you're not already watching them. You're already watching them, so you're totally.
So I don't need to mark stress at all.
I don't think you'll need to, like depending on how the scene goes, like whether
not yet,
right? Yeah. So you're listening nearby to Blanca's purse, right? Like whether like you're not like necessarily like ready to jump out of a car with a gun, but like you're nearby the area for sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, or I guess her backpack because you all three had backpacks. So so you roll up on her. She's standing by the bike smoking a cigarette, right? She's got her bag with her, and when she sees you, she's like, "Oh, thank God." Look, I'm really sorry. Okay, I'm not going to do anything stupid ever again. I promise.
And I just like shake my head like we both know that's not true. Just don't do anything this stupid.
She kind of like smiles a little bit, like, yeah, okay.
Look, let's go up over the garage, and I need a bump because we are cokeheads.
Yeah.
With what we do, we are like, also like powder coke is cheap. Like that's like a like it's in Mexico, it's like this is not Hollywood. We go up over the garage where we keep our bikes, which is like our our kind of our little squat that we have. It's like kind of where we hang out.
Right.
There's a little bit of small talk and and we lay some stuff out, and there's and when she leans over to do a line, I'm gonna fill my stress track, just put the gun in the back of her head and pull the trigger.
Great. Yeah, cool. So with Matador, you fill your stress track to turn to violence against an unsuspecting target. Let's talk about turning to violence. You would normally roll with savagery, but since you're just taking the 10 plus, you get 3. You inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, resist marking stress, or avoid collateral damage. So, which of these do you want to do?
I can't resist marking. Oh no, because I'm filling the stress track, but then could mark more stress on top of that, right?
Yeah, like and that basically is like you would then have to like immediately make a stress move, right? Which is the idea.
Got it. So let me see. I'm gonna do terrible harm, little harm, inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, and resist marking stress because I'm ready for this. But there might be some collateral damage.
Awesome, great. So remember, collateral damage doesn't have to be physical, right?
Correct.
So it can also be social. So so you just put the gun against the back of her head, and like you feel her stiffen up as she realizes, and then blam, right? She's gone.
Yeah.
And
collateral damage can be like my crew was with me when it was in the abstract, but actually seeing it can
like Lola's there. She's got her gun.
Yeah.
And then she kind of puts the gun back in her belt, and you can see her just like her spirit is kind of like
and I say, okay, we so let's do this. And I I grab her legs and swing her around up onto the table, and the shitty cheap plastic picnic tablecloth that we've got on that table to it's got whatever cigarette burns in it and stuff like that. I just start wrapping her up in it.
Yeah. So from your perspective, Mercedes, you hear they're some chatter kind of about doing coke. You hear the bag get set down on the ground, and then you hear an unmistakable gunshot.
Okay, I'm on there pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So you're coming that direction. That's great. Yeah. Lola's kind of her hands are kind of she looks really uncomfortable, and she doesn't want to do this. So let's cut there. We'll come back to you guys in a second. So yeah. So Arturo, Gabrielle says, well, why don't you come up and you all can work out whatever you need to work out, and I can get you a beer. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. I could really use a beer. It's been a long day at the paper company.
Yolanda, Gabrielle steps back to let you open the door, or do you say anything?
Well, I'll see you at lunch tomorrow. I don't know if we need to meet now. I think I'll just hand him some money. I still owe you for this.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You're trying to.
I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at lunch.
Gabrielle looks at you. No, it's rude. Come up and have a beer. You came all the way down here. I could come up and have a beer.
Well, I mean, it's getting late. It can wait until tomorrow, I suppose. It's just business. I don't want to interrupt you guys.
What is it that's so important you had to come here in the middle of the night, but it can wait till tomorrow?
Well, I was just going to mention that, we're going to have some visitors, some people inspecting the factory, some extra attention. So I was just going to say, be on your best behavior and everything will be good.
Why don't you justify yourself for that? It's great, right? You have the story of no, it's really important, but it can wait because I'll just tell it to you now, right? It's a good thing. Good, yeah, really, as Ash, you said in the chat, good double meanings, lots there.
So that's a 13.
Yeah, best liar in the game. He says, okay. He kind of looks at you, Yolanda, as if to say, is that meaningful? I don't know what you just said. Do you kind of play along with it?
Yeah, I'll be on my best behavior tomorrow. Wear the suit up to the nines.
Yeah. So yeah, he holds open the door for you, Yolanda.
All right, I'll go. I think I need a break after this day.
Hi. So are you what are you so Arturo's leaving. You promised to tell Gabrielle something. Are you worried about what you're going to tell him? As Gabrielle goes up the stairs ahead of you, what are you thinking about? What are you doing in this moment before you head up after him?
I think that it was kind of a nice interlude, right? That helped calm him down at least, so we can actually have a discussion instead of madness. Or maybe he'll go back to that in private.
So, are you thinking that you might be able to lie to him effectively now that he's been distracted a bit?
Yeah, or at least he doesn't have an audience, right?
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So yeah, so we get this shot of the two of you, right? Outside your apartment. And Arturo, you didn't know she was married, but here's her husband. What do you do?
I guess I'm kind of surprised. They're not really that surprised. And I don't know. I think I'm just gonna get a ride home and prepare for tomorrow.
Okay, cool. So you sort of just like
Yeah,
go back to your car.
I did what I looked out. I mean, I got what I wanted from that. They're not what I really wanted, but
Yeah.
she's married, so I'll see her tomorrow.
Great, cool. All right, so let's go back to our cop who is currently like. Do you radio it in at all, Mercedes, or do you just go right to?
I
Right
think
to-
I go and actually I think I'm going right now. I don't radio in because I do hear Lupita is one of the people involved. So
Okay, great, cool. Yeah, so Lola is just standing there, kind of shell shocked, not sure what to do. But she was with you for killing her. Like she didn't try to interfere at all.
And
But-
I'm like, like I've got a couple of bungee cords that I'm like wrapping around the, like the thing to make this like it's obviously a body wrapped in a in a tablecloth. And I say, what the fuck are you doing? Get her bag and put the meth in it.
that's what I want to ask you.
So as you as she kind of shell shocked is like she goes to the bag and starts gets the meth and puts it inside. And you are you gonna enter the building? Like what are you gonna do, Mercedes? Like you see that
Was this outside or inside?
they're upstairs above their garage, like almost like in a loft.
Oh,
I see
okay.
it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So their garage is open, I would assume, like or like could be opened. Lupe, like how would one get into the building?
There's a garage downstairs, and then I think there's just like an outdoor like a wooden stairway out the back, that goes up to the second floor. Like it's not really an apartment, it's kind of an attic that we've turned into, and it's got like a shitty rickety wooden stairway that leads up there. And so I think it may even be a thing where like you can look down between the floorboards and into knotholes and stuff and see what's going on down in the garage.
Yeah.
We can yell back and forth to each other. It's not like it's a
it's not really a building.
Yeah,
like
it's not terribly secure or anything like that.
But you also don't know exactly where they are, right? And so, like, it might make more sense that as you're looking around, they come out with the body. Like, where are you planning on moving the body to?
So I guess one of the questions I have mechanically is, I don't want to steal Maria's thunder for her being able to spend to come into the scene. But there is also a heat move where we can try and get away from a messy crime scene before the federales show up.
Right, exactly. So
how do those go together?
So since Maria's already said, hey, I'm monitoring this person and I followed her, right? Like that was a thing that she was doing beforehand. She kind of knows that something happened and she's in the area. So I think it's actually kind of a separate thing. Like if you're going to get away, I don't think you're actually necessarily at a messy crime scene. Like you did this in private. If it wasn't bugged, it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay. So the only thing that matters is whether you can.
Okay, so you know what? Yeah, like we get out of the garage and away from her, and I think and you know what? I think I like the idea that Mercedes finds us when we are, dropping the body, like we are dumping the body. Me and Lola are like lifting it into a dumpster with the with the backpack that has extra meth that that we got from the cook.
Now, for me, it's sort of like this is totally a push your luck, right? Like you try to get rid of the body before she finds you. Maybe all she finds is the body.
Okay, sure.
And not the two of you, right? She can interfere if she wants to interfere, right? That's okay there. So well, let's see what he rolls first, right? So Jim's gonna roll first for Lupe. Lupe's gonna try to push your luck first. Yeah.
So push your luck is I'm rolling with grit, which is not my strong suit.
And here's the thing. if you just leave the body and are totally focused on escaping, you get to roll with hustle. But you'll leave the body in your own house, right? Which is not a great.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna roll with the grit here. So, and that is a 10. -1 puts me to a 9.
A 9. Okay, cool. So you interfering doesn't matter here,
Okay,
right? Because the
makes
most you can
sense.
apply is a -2. So yeah, like there's actually something really great narco-fiction style about too, like the passing in the night, right?
Oh, yeah,
Where like they dump her body in the dumpster, like around the corner from the house, and as you come around the corner, you hear they're like, but it's not much, right?
And it's a thing where like we dump the body in, and then the two of us like clamber onto the dumpster and over the fence behind it as she's pulling into the alley or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
And it makes sense for the 7 to 9, how it reads.
Yep. Now, here's the thing: that you are in the position where you definitely were spotted. It wasn't clear who it was, but the cop sees you. If she pursues you, you might have to deal with the consequences of that. But it's totally, since it's a PC, we'll let it be up to her. So you get a sense, Mercedes, that there's probably something in that dumpster, but you see them kind of go over the fence. Do you pursue?
I'll pursue. I mean, I
Okay.
heard a gunshot, so it's probably a body. I can make that assumption.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Cool. So you're going to try to pursue them, and they are running. Have you called this in at all?
I'm gonna call it in now
Okay.
that I've
cool.
had time to.
Yeah, like you're like gunshot, like I'm pursuing, etc.
But
Cool.
I will mark the 3 stress instead of 1.
To be the only person on the scene.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Great.
So I'll
Cool.
be up at 3 stress.
Awesome. Good. So you're going to pursue them. In terms of getting away, let's just kind of fictionally describe it. So, Lupe, what is your strategy for getting away from the Federalis here?
This is totally the scene where, like, if she's got like a light. Oh no, we established you have you said you have a bike, right? A motorcycle.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a fucking motorcycle chase. This is totally
Okay.
a motorcycle chase through the streets of Durango.
Cool, great. So this just goes to the flee from Los Federales move.
Yes,
so
yeah.
basically, you get the benefit, like it's totally to your benefit, Maria, to have them have to make this move, because the tough choices that come from it are they're going to have to they're going to have to roll a miss to get away from you. Everything else that puts them in a tough position where they have to sacrifice things. Okay. Cool. So you're the only one pursuing them. So when if you catch them, it's totally you. It's not anybody else, because the rest of the department hasn't caught up yet, which is perfect. And let's go ahead and have you make the roll at base. So what's your heat?
It's at 0 right now. I don't know whether I.
Nope. That's totally it. Like you're at 0, and part of that is because like you're a relatively low level person. So
Okay.
like you're not somebody the cops look for very often.
Right, and I want to roll low here, I believe, correct?
You want to roll low?
I got a 7.
You got a 7. On a 7, you can escape the authorities by sacrificing something. The MC will tell you what your freedom will cost you. It's Lola.
Oh, fuck. Of course it is. Of course it is.
So as you go, right, like Lola's bike, like she like rounds a corner during this chase,
and
her tire blows out.
Yes,
As she climbs up, she motions for you to like get closer. She can jump on your bike, and you know.
If I do, we're gonna get caught. Oh fuck!
Right after you told her you're not going to get caught by the cops.
Yeah, which is why I'm out.
You're out. You're done. You're gone. You just rev the engine and go.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So Mercedes, you come around the corner and you see like Lola is like reaching. She's like digging in her bag for her gun, and she pulls the gun out of the bag as you come around the corner. What do you do?
I will state who I am. This is the federal police. And then freeze, and then I'll shoot because I'm a fucking cop, and that's what cops do. They shoot first, right?
Well, you declare yourself. You're like federale, freeze. Like you see
Yes.
that you could
Yeah.
totally wait to see what she does.
Yeah,
or
I'll
you
wait.
just-
I'll wait.
Yeah. So you see her like when you yell, she grabs the gun and she turns towards you. She does not raise the weapon, but she's still holding it.
Put the weapon down.
All right, you're gonna pressure her?
Yeah.
All right, roll it.
Hustle, right?
With hustle, yeah.
Reroll. That is 9. Plus 1.
Nine.
Plus 1. So
This is
10.
10. Yeah. So she stops and you see her like put her hands out and she drops the gun and yeah, you've got her. Do you cuff her? Like what do you do with her?
Yeah, I cuff her. I basically tell the I did radio in the police, so they're gonna get here. I'm gonna ask her where's Lupita before they get here.
She's like I don't know, she took off, right? And she seems really upset, like kind of broken. Now, are you actually going to hand over this potentially dangerous person to the rest of the department?
I mean, what I'm thinking is, I'm just gonna say, tell me where she's going, and you get away.
I don't think she knows. Like I think she's like I don't know. Like she's not even putting up any resistance to you questioning her. Like she's like I don't fucking know where she's going, right? Like she's totally like I think she feels a little bit like Lupita just like broke her heart. Like she doesn't know. She just killed her Pendia member and then took off without her. Like she doesn't fucking know.
I cuff her.
Okay. And you're gonna plan to hand her over to the department?
I drop her off at the site where she dumped a body.
Okay.
And then I start, or basically to hand them over to the police, to the rest of the force, and then I go after Lupita myself.
Well, Lupita's gone. Like she's escaped.
Never
Right
mind
now.
then.
Yeah, she's escaped.
Then
I'm
I
just
will.
asking because I'm not sure, like from your perspective as a cartel operative, I'm not sure the cartel would be super thrilled with you handing this person over who might know things. So I just want to make sure we're clear on the consequences of it.
Yeah. I'm thinking. I think this will be more of a thing. Like I'm trying to get Lupita out, and this is a, and then I'm asking her what happened, also, right?
Yeah. She tells you, right? She's like, Lupita fucking killed my friend. Like she's just totally like, whatever. I don't care. I'll tell you whatever. Like Lupita killed our friend. Like she's gone crazy. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna angle halfway through the pride key, like claiming an asset in the grounds that my family deserves it. Like Lupita is the family of a friend of mine, and and claiming her as an asset on the grounds, or claiming her friend as an asset on the grounds that she's family, she shouldn't be doing this.
Okay, great. So you're gonna arrest her friend and say, like, I did this, I caught you, and
then when I see Lupita again, I'm gonna be like say, hey, if I see her again, I'm gonna say, hey, get the fuck out of this business because your friends are gonna get killed.
Okay,
and you
cool.
might get killed as well.
Okay, so you're gonna bring her in and try to scare Lupita a little bit by bringing her in.
Yeah.
All right, great, cool. That sounds awesome. Okay, good. So that sounds like a good place to stop. We're also kind of out of time, so let's kind of give ourselves a little epilogue here. So Yolanda, like as we kind of leave this maybe pilot episode or first thing of a miniseries, what do we see with you and your husband? Do we see him buying the story? Do we see him storming out? Like what happens with this conflict between you and your husband?
I think I'll definitely have to like spend more time with him, so I'll make an effort to I'll promise to go see him more.
Okay, so you do convince him to drop this, that it's just like my cousin's crazy or whatever, and you try to repair your marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good. Great. Lupita, what do we see with you? What do we see Lupe kind of doing next?
I kind of, like we've got that thing where like 2 blocks away with the headlamp out, I see, Lola getting cuffed and hauled away.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking know what to do. So, I like just sitting there on the back of my bike, I do the rest of whatever coke I have left.
Yeah.
To try and take the edge off of some of that stress. And we don't know whether it works or not, but one of the things that happens when you're coked up is that you throw yourself at someone inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so when Art gets back from having beers with the family or whatever it is that I think when he shows up in the morning, he finds me sleeping in the alley, like behind the I have no idea where he lives or anything like that. So I think like I am like in the alley behind the building, like where he works, and I basically am there okay, things went south, but I know you can help me fix this because I've got something on Yolanda that we can use.
Yeah, great. Awesome. And Mercedes, how about you?
I think the next step for the card for like I need to balance the scales a bit. Like I just get like the cartel just lost 2 people that were assets. We have to I'm gonna pretty much help them get the rat out.
So now you're gonna really start looking for the rat and try to nail down who it is. Awesome. Good. And Art, how about you? How do we end things with Art?
I think Art goes along with this idea from Lupe, and when he goes to visit Yolanda at her drug factory, it's just kind of, he manages, there's the drug deal going on, and it's like, oh, we have a little bit of extra drugs, but we have a little bit of extra money, and just kind of takes a little bit of extra of both of those, and just gets on a bike with Lupita, and heads off.
All right, great. So this is what he needed to be convinced that Yolanda really wasn't interested in you. Like you're like, oh, she's married. Like I'm out, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Cool. Awesome. Good. All right. Great game, guys. Thanks. Asher had to run. They didn't realize it would go so long. I think we said 3 to 4 hours. So this is sort of the upper end of that. I just want to do a really quick round of, was it the stars and wishes that people were doing before? So I've never done this before, I don't think. So stars is just like a moment that people really liked, attributed to someone, like something that you really liked that somebody did. And then a wish is like kind of what you would want to see happen with your character next, which I think is a lot of fun. So Jim, let's start with you. So what was a star for today? Or who is a star for today for you?
Oh, definitely like Ted's moment of what the fuck are you doing? Oh, it's the boss. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that was really cute.
Oh, it's this guy who can have me like, beheaded and dumped in a ditch. So like just that, like that was so perfect for that character. Just that like turn on a dime to to adapt to the situation. I love that moment.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, that's actually what made me propose that kind of thinking was what made me propose the Javier Bardem picture, where he has that like weird thing where he can be kind of menacing and then kind of friendly, like really fast, right? Like I saw you getting to that, which is great. Maria, what's a wish for your character, Jim? Where would you like to see your character go next? What do you think would be cool to happen in the story?
Can we do the stars first and then go around?
Sure, that's cool with me. Yeah, Maria, how about a star for you?
Star. I think Lupita's story arc was really interesting.
Like how it fell apart.
Yeah, how it fell apart. Yeah, especially.
Yeah, no, I think you've probably heard me rant before about playing to lose. I don't think that's super interesting. Like oh, it's just chaos. But like I love watching people play to win within the context of this stupid game, right? Like oh, I guess I got to kill my friend was super great. Like a super great moment. Yeah, that's good. Robert, how about you? What was a star for you?
I think also Lupe, just the way dealing with the gang or dealing with her posse.
Yeah.
And all of the trappings around that of going to rescue them, going to kill them, just it's the whole gamut.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. I'll give a star to Asher. I think that most of the time the cook is played as like not I don't like in over their head, but like also kind of like hyper competent. Like I'm so smart, and I loved Asher's like I may have made a mistake, like as her like as Yolanda's overall thing. I thought was really cool, and it meant that like when the husband showed up or other things, like it just kind of all contributed to this like I am in over my head in a way that was really fun. So I think Asher did a great job with that. Cool. So wishes, Jim, wish for your character.
So one of the things that I noticed about playing the Halcon is that there's nothing prescriptive or mechanical about how you replace your posse when they get taken out. And so, man, the thing I really want to see is like what is her future? I mean, presumably she's going to have a posse in the future because that's sort of a core part of that playbook. But like it kind of busted up, and like I think she's like, but it's also a world where like no matter how many people get brutalized, there's just a pipeline that is supplying more kids into it. So that's kind of one of the really kind of crazy tragic aspects of that, because it's like it's fun to kind of be I'm the gang leader, I got a hustle going all over the place, but yeah, it's whose lives am I going to destroy next?
Well, and also
I really want to see.
I think you cleared both your keys in those last couple scenes, actually. So you killed one of your Pandia without checking with anybody, which is totally a way to clear your ambition key.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you also retreated from a situation that you maybe could have still worked out. Like you could have talked your way out of getting caught by the cops.
Or if it's one cop, I could have just shot them.
Totally.
Yes, yeah.
So you actually might be in a place in which it's time to change your character to a new type.
Oh, that's interesting. Sure.
Right? Like you could be like, cool, I'm a Sicario now. Like I don't have a Pandia anymore. They're all dead.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Like, I'm the only one that's left. So there's some interesting things there too. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Maria, how about you? What's a wish for your character?
I think I wish to see more, or if there was a second season or second session, I wish to see more of what she was about, really. Mm-hmm. Like with the police set, I'm not, maybe because I don't know much about Dark of Fiction to begin with, but I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing half the time. So
yeah, there's some challenge there around playing both sides, right? Which is hard to do and takes some practice. So cool. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see more of that. And Robert, how about for you? What would you want to see for Arturo?
I mean, I think some of it's on me. Like I think I had a couple opportunities to clear some of my keys or use my moves better. So I'd probably see more of paying attention to my keys and trying to corrupt people and flip people and things like that.
Yeah, there's an interesting using those tools, right, and getting a chance to try it again and use those tools again. It reminds me of we just started playing Root, which is this really cool board game. But like you play Root and you're like, oh, that was really cool, but now I just want to play this again with this same role because now I actually know how to do stuff, right? And like that feeling of like, oh, I want to play. I had that feeling playing what's the Tainted monster? It's not the Tainted. It's the
Infernal.
The Infernal, right? Yeah. Who's like, oh, now I get how these deals work, right? Like, I finished my first session. Now I know how this works, right? That's really cool. Yeah, for me, for a wish for the story, I think each group of playbooks has a different feel. So like the Lorata and Polizetta playbooks have this like cat and mouse game where like people are trying to figure out who's who and who can be trusted. I would love to see the sort of the other side of things be brought in terms of the violence, right? Which is like, okay, so are your lives actually in danger? What does that feel like? We had a couple moments at the end, but I would like to see what would happen with like, you know, Arturo, when Arturo has to contend with violence. What does he do and how does he react? That would be really neat. So that would be kind of where I would want to see the story move next. Is violence the kind of thing where if you show up with that body at Yolanda's lab and you're like, hey, did you get rid of this body? Will Yolanda be like, what? No, this is crazy. Or is she just going to move into business mode?
Oh, that was a completely missed opportunity because I totally forgot at the beginning of the game that was one of the things that Spencer took.
Yeah, but like
I should have. Or sorry,
like also
Asher,
like you may not have wanted. I mean, like just dump the body. Like she's not an important person, right? So you don't necessarily do it. But yeah, like that would be an interesting thing to see what happens in the next session. So cool. Thank you both. Thank you all very much. Super great. You know, especially from inside the playbook, Robert, if you have any perspective on like what works, what doesn't about Lorata, please let me know. And otherwise, I'll engage us. So thanks a ton.
Pleasure to play with you guys.
Peace.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.